This is the way they will line up defensively. Left to right around the outfield, it'll be Smith, Gant, and Justice. The infield is made up of Presley, Blauser, Treadway, and Gregg. Ernie Witt is behind the plate, and John Smoltz is on the mound. There you have a look at John. The right-hander has really come on strong since early in the year. You'll see his numbers for the year. He has surpassed his career high at 12 wins. Has a chance at 15 or 16. Pitching a lot of innings, keeping his hits down less than a hit per inning. The strikeouts, walks about 2 to 1. So he has really established himself as a right-handed pitcher that will be heard of for a long time here in the National League. Bobby Cox, Leo Mazzoni obviously have to be pleased with the job John Smoltz has done. One other bit of baseball news up in Montreal. The Montreal Expos' Claude Brochu has said that agreement to sell the club is virtually complete and that the Expos will stay in Montreal. So it looks like the Braves are going to visit north of the border for a while. Well, that just about sets the stage for game 2 of this series. Back here tomorrow for another game, then the Dodgers are in. And here to kick it off for you, take you the first 3, is Ernie Johnson.
Okay, Sut. John Smoltz has just about completed his tosses. One other note on that Larry Himes case. It came down the wire, as I understand it, that his contract would not be renewed. But I talked to a local scribe who said he had talked to Chicago and said he didn't know if it was true or not. So I don't know whether we should be on the fence with that or not.
But it is true that they have renewed Jeff Torborg, right? They had an option for 91 on Torborg, and they have picked it up.
I believe that is for real. But the other thing might be hanging a little bit. I thought it had happened, and while I was in the press box, I mentioned it, and a local writer just said he'd talked to Chicago, and they're denying it. So I don't know.
Had he talked to another writer in Chicago or to Chicago itself?
I'm not sure if he talked to Chicago, whether he talked to Himes or he talked to another writer. We're going to dig at it. We'll dig at it a little bit more.
We're looking at Bip Roberts at another position. Is there anything this youngster can't do?
Well, I'll tell you, he is doing everything they want him to do this year. He can play left field or third base. He was 2 for 4 last night. He has 34 doubles and 90 runs scored, so he's in the top 10 there. Having his best year, Bip Roberts, he's a switch hitter, and he runs well with 40 stolen bases. And Smoltz's first pitch. We are underway from Atlanta, and thank you for joining us on Braves TV. Strike call. He's batting .384 in his last 21 games. Proving once again you don't have to be a giant to play this game in the major league. They don't care how big you are. If you can hit, or if you're a pitcher, you can get them out. They never say, I'm sorry, you can't pitch because you're not 6'10". 1 ball, 1 strike. Templeton on deck. That's a little bit high. 2-1. They have won 66 and lost 77.
Look what John Smoltz has done in his last 5 starts. The second half has been all his.
Breaking ball. Looked like it might have been a slider or a fastball that rolled in. 3-1. Looped over third. He's got himself a little pop fly single that doesn't have enough on it to reach the outfield, but he hit it over Presley's head. It's not how hard, it's sometimes where you hit the ball.
You know what got him that base hit? The fact that he has speed and is a threat to bunt had Presley in at the edge of the grass. If Presley is playing back where he normally plays, he just sticks up his glove and that's right in it. And you saw there the base hit. Blauser took it on a hop. Bowser took it on a hop before it made left field. So it was like your little topspin lob or your little wedge shot that you just flopped over the sand.
Yes, and Templeton has played a little shallow too because he's a threat to drop one down. He usually tries to pull the ball through the hole in this spot because he is a switch hitter. He's a good number 2 hitter. Last night he was hitting behind the runner. Templeton's been around for a long time. Started his major league career with the Cardinals. He was 1 for 4 last night.
He has not had very much success against John Smoltz. He's only gotten 1 hit and 15 at bats against John. And John, when he's gotten him out, has done it with hard stuff.
Strike call. Jerry Lane calling the balls and strikes. Just a beautiful night for baseball. Wish you could all be here. We've got a crowd that's going to be larger than last night. Last night's crowd was 4,000 plus. We should have 5 or 6 here tonight, I would think. hopefully more as we press toward 1 million for the year. There's a bouncer to the mound, could be 2. Out, double play. Boy, Smoltz did a good job, and Treadway did a good job at second to get a pretty fast man. Templeton still can run.
Back up the middle, John Smoltz is not in real comfortable position when he throws this to second, and I'm not sure he was sure who was covering on this. You see both Blauser and Treadway there, but Treadway takes charge, gets rid of it before he gets dumped by Roberts. Tommy Gregg digs the throw out. Pitcher's best friend, 1-4-3. You don't see the 1-4-3 too much. Usually it's the shortstop covering when that ground ball is back to the pitcher.
It's easier for him to come across the bag.
Right, he's headed toward first on it.
This is Tony Gwynn. This guy has hit Smoltz to the tune of 480 in his career. But he's got quite a club. Any pitcher can join it. There's a let-up that is in there. He doesn't throw too many changes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gwynn is within 1 RBI of equaling his all-time high of RBIs in 1 year, 71. So he's going to surpass that. And there's a bouncer out by second, and Treadway is going to nail him for out number 3. That'll do it for the Padres. They fail to score. Atlanta coming to bat. We're going to the bottom of the first. Greg Riddoch right there in the middle. He's their manager. Got a master's degree in psychology. And there in the field, you'll find Pagliarulo, Templeton, Cora, and Clark around the infield. First time Pagliarulo started for a while against Atlanta. San Diego will catch Bennis, and fanned around in the outfield is Roberts, Carter, and Gwynn.
Riddoch has actually taught high school psychology, and so dealing with some ball players, he might have felt more comfortable dealing with some high schoolers. But he certainly knows how to sit down and talk to personalities, and there is a lot of psychology in managing, because you have a lot of different people on a ball club, and you just can't, successful managers can't do it just one way. You know, you have to be able to communicate individually.
Got to know how to treat 25 different personalities. Some guys you can kick in the butt, as they say, and they will perform better, while others, if you do that, they go hide in a corner.
You lose it. Yeah.
This is Lonnie Smith. Boy, Lonnie's hit well lately. Last 35 games, 341. 306 for the year. Fastball inside. Well, we got 2 pitchers, 23 years old. One signed out of high school. That's Smoltz, signed with Detroit. And this guy signed out of college. So you get, and they're both in the major leagues and both pitching well. 1 ball, 1 strike. Don, a lot of colleges, if you play in a good program, you don't have to go to the lower minors.
No, I think that there are a lot of colleges who play actually a bigger schedule than some of the rookie leagues, and probably play a schedule that might be equal to the low Class A.
That is well touched to left center field. Bip Roberts is to the track, and he's got it. Lonnie Smith gave it a ride right at that 385-foot mark, and Roberts with his speed got back there for out number 1.
Bennis is trying to get in on Lonnie. Got it almost all the way in there. Lonnie still didn't hit that out on the fat part of the bat. Hit it down about the label. Got up in the air and carried, but Roberts had plenty of room to spare when he caught it. That's one of those where the hitter takes a big swing. It looks like it's going to go, but the pitcher got it in far enough that it doesn't carry.
This is Treadway. Pitch is outside. Treadway didn't start last night, but Lonnie Smith, on an inside pitch, he has a different swing, doesn't he?
It's like he leads with his hands and then rolls the bat over. That's why you'll see him slice some to right.
That is sliced to left. I don't think anybody can catch up to it.
You'll see him take some of those inside pitches, and if they're a little bit quicker, he'll fight them off. But if they're not that quick, he gets it rolled over and catches it out in front. That time, Bennis caught him just as he was starting to roll it, and that's why the ball didn't carry. If he'd have rolled it just a little bit more, that'd have been out of here.
It's a very different swing, but it's been very successful for him. Ron Gant is on deck. Treadway at 288. The Griffin native has a career high in homers, 11, and RBIs, 53 in the major leagues. No score, bottom of the first. The Braves snapped a 4-game losing streak last night winning 7-3. Just a little bit outside. And we got a banner out there in right field. Braves diehards. All right. There they are. And that is down low. A walk to Treadway. Ron Gant, the batter, he's sitting on home run 29. He needs one more for 30, then 5 stolen bases, and he's a 30-30 guy. The Braves have had 2 before.
And Ron has become a real good inside hitter, so if Bennis is going to come in on him, he better make sure he gets it all the way in, because Ron Gant has hit most of his home runs off pitches where the pitcher has tried to pitch him inside, but has caught a little bit of the plate.
Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy were the only members of the 30-30 club, and there's a swing and a miss on a curveball. Well, there's heat on the Pittsburgh Pirates because the Mets have won today already. Pirates playing tonight in Montreal, and there's heat on the Red Sox as Toronto has won. Boston playing tonight in Chicago. They are only 3 games in front of Toronto. Toronto won yesterday, late in the game, last at bat, and today they won it again, last at bat. Fastball low and away. This guy, and we'll see if he does it tonight. Bennis very seldom gets through an inning 1, 2, 3. Very seldom. Last time he pitched against the Braves, he pitched into the 7th inning. I think he retired the side once in order. He always seems to get somebody on. Base hit center. Gant waited on that breaking ball. He just sat there and waited, and then popped it up the middle. Here's Justice.
Did you see what he did when he waited on it, too? He didn't bail out and try to pull it. He just hit it right back up the middle. Took a good, comfortable swing.
Bennis had 1 inning, the 6th, where he retired the Braves 1, 2, 3 in San Diego. We'll see how he works here tonight. Fouled away. Oh, Justice has a beautiful swing. He went 2 for 4 last night. He was the National League Player of the Month for August. 16 homers in his last 39 games. You could go on and on. He hit .408 for August. And he's still right up on that dish. Blown away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Atlanta threatening here in the 1st inning. They have Treadway at second base and Gant at first. Spoke at a Rotary Club and last winter, and they said, "You're always talking about the pitchers, Ernie. How about some of the other players? Got any other players?" Well, if we go out this winter, we can talk about some other players. One of them's at the plate and one of them's at first base.
Guy at second hadn't had too bad of a year either.
Presley. There are other players to talk about. 1 ball, 1 strike. Time called as Justice gets a little tired of waiting on Bennis. They have a indicator set aside for the runner at second, so if the pitcher wants to throw a different pitch after you've gone through that sequence, well, you got to start over, and that's what takes time. Breaking ball, in and down, 2-1.
A lot of pitchers don't like to have their rhythm broken up by doing that, so they add and subtract. Let's say 1's a fastball, 2's a curve, 3's a slider, 4's a changeup, and he gives you 2 and you want to throw a changeup, which is 4. You just swipe the top of your jersey twice. That adds 2, and you go ahead and rock into the pitch.
You know, I don't see that as much as I did when you pitched. Really. There aren't as many guys. Doyle Alexander used to do it. You did it.
I think a lot of organizations are trying to get away from that because you see more and more managers now getting involved in the step-off, throw-over, and calling a lot of the pitches. So I think more and more the catcher and the manager and the catcher and the pitching coach are working together, and they're taking it away from the pitcher.
And the pitcher says, well, I got to throw this because the manager just said to throw it. Oh, what a swing. Fouled it back.
That's a kind of little bit of backwards logic, though, because never have they put winning and losing manager in the box score the next day.
You're absolutely
They put
right.
pitcher in there, and it's a flimsy excuse when a pitcher says, I had to throw it, he called for it, I didn't want to. That excuse will not hold water. Because that head works just as well as it does
Go 1-0 now.
2 balls, 2 strikes. I think he went. Yes, he did. In fact, he even ticked it. Strikeout of Justice. Runner still first and second. That was a low breaking ball.
They try to pitch him inside. They try to pitch him down in the end. That's okay if you put it in this spot, which is absolutely perfect. But if you miss a couple of inches up with that, that's the one Justice has been wearing out. It'd be hard to put a pitch in a better spot than Bennis did on that one.
The umpire signaled he foul-tipped it, but it didn't look like he came close. Now Tommy Gregg takes a 2-out hit. He has 47 hits in his last 136 at-bats for a .346 average. He leads the National League in pinch hits with 16. And he was 1 for 2 last night. Presley on deck.
Talk about guys you can talk about. Tommy Gregg early in May was hitting about .085. He has really been on a tear since, well, at least for the last 3.5 months, and he's put together some pretty impressive numbers too.
He has that. He's been platoon most of the time at first base. But he thinks he can hit lefties, and there's a high fastball. 2 balls, no strikes, so he's got his pitch coming up here. Cabrera also has hit well. He right-handed hitter playing first. They just don't know where to play him. Came up as a catcher. They play him in first, the outfield. Winter ball, he might work more in the outfield. Presley's got a chance to be up there with the bases loaded. 3-0. Gantz at first and Treadway's at second. 1 walk, 1 single. That is a strike call. Boy, another pitch that he can look for. He's ahead in the count. Curveball, and he missed it. Beautiful pitch.
What Bennis was saying with that curveball is, if you want to swing at it, go ahead. I don't care if I walk you to get to the right-hander. He's saying, I would rather face the right-hander with the bases loaded than you with runners at first and second. And a lot of times you can get a hitter to chase a pitch like that, as he did with Gregg.
Now the runners will move. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
And now the 3-2 fastball looks about a foot quicker if he throws it.
Breaking ball hit foul, back out of play. I had this guy figured wrong, Bennis. I thought he was more of a fastball pitcher. And I've seen him pitch twice now. He's thrown a lot of breaking balls.
Yeah, and that amazes me, too, to see guys, and he's been clocked on the radar gun at 91, 92, and it amazes me to see guys pitch with 90-plus mile-an-hour fastballs the way I had to. 3-1 change, 3-2 hook.
Yeah.
That's called survival pitching. Well, heck, if you can throw the ball 91 miles an hour, you shouldn't very often get the 3-1.
There's the fastball high and away, and they're full for Jim Presley. Bases loaded. Presley at 248, 19 homers and 70 RBIs. Homered here last night. Had 2 RBIs. Went 2 for 3. Last time a Braves third baseman hit 20 homers, it was Bob Horner. Hit 20 and 83.
Don't you think a lot of guys, especially young pitchers, are afraid that every fastball in the strike zone will get hit? And
Well,
if they come watch batting practice, you know that's not true.
I think some of it might come from playing with a metal bat in college
agree.
and high school.
Definitely.
Breaking ball. Got it over 0-1. I never played with a metal bat. They weren't invented in those days. But I understand you can jam somebody with a metal bat. They get a base hit to left. Might even hit a home run off
You
the
can
handle.
jam them about 380.
Yeah.
Wood off the handle doesn't go 380.
scout told me he just doesn't know how much power some of these guys got because they use that bat. Look out, almost hit him. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Atlanta record for doubles is 37 done by 4 players. Presley has 34. It's a career high for him. He's kind of happy that his numbers are going back to Seattle. Seattle let him go, and they're picking up the paper and saying, uh-oh, he is knocked in 70. That's a fastball, 1-2. Gregg's at first. Gantz at second. Treadway at third.
Okay, you're an old pitcher. Let me ask you. You've just thrown a fastball right by the guy. What would you learn from that?
Well, I would think that I might try him again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Move it inside a little bit and throw it. If he can't get up to it away, he's certainly not going to get up to it inside. Why speed his bat up with something that's off speed unless you make a perfect pitch on it?
And he did, and he fisted him. And it should be an out, and it is. A fastball in on the hands, and Presley bounces to Pagliarulo. The Braves leave 3, and we go to the 2nd inning.
This telecast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Atlanta National League Baseball Club and is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Atlanta National League Baseball Club is prohibited.
Well done, with feeling. B+. Here's Jack Clark. 304 career homers. 34 of them against Atlanta pitching over the years. 1 for 2 last night. Leads the league in walks despite missing about 40 games. And that is a fastball outside.
Hasn't exactly worn out John Smoltz. He's 2 for 11 career against John, although he has hammered the Braves pretty good this year. 400, 3 homers, 8 RBIs. That's a good year against the club.
Here's a let-up that missed. The pitch John is working on. 1 ball, 1 strike. Doesn't seem to have quite the same motion on that change that he has on his fastball.
But I think hitters are so not used to seeing it that they give up on it even though it's a different delivery.
There's a fastball over. Joe Carter is on deck.
Ernie, you might tell him if we delay just a little bit letting him know it's a ball or a strike, it's because Jerry Lane takes his own dear time letting us know if it's a ball or a strike.
He takes a nice long look. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Oops, he hung onto that curveball. About a minute too long. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, you want to make that pitch so good, and you want it low and outside, and you don't want your head in the cap. Like you got glue on your hand.
So his towards was good, but his forwards was off a little, huh?
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes. This guy, that ball is outside. This guy is a bona fide slugger, though. When he comes up there, I mean, you know that he's trying to hit a homer most of the time, and he can do it.
But you know what I think he does? I think he has one zone that he looks for the ball in, and if you don't throw it in it, he's not going to swing at it. Therefore, he gets a lot of walks because people pitch to his reputation rather than to the strike zone.
3-2. Ball 4. Fastball missing outside, and he walks. Joe Carter is next. Well, you've all heard us talk about Pete Scorpet, who runs our spring training site in West Palm Beach, Florida. Pete's up in West Stockbridge, Massachusetts, and they finally got the cable up there through efforts by Pete and his gang. And they're watching tonight's game at the West Stockbridge Sportsman Club. Pete and a couple of his pals, Louis Panzeri and Angelo Gennari. That sounds like a winning
Indian
group.
fellows, huh?
Yeah. They are watching, and we hope that we're coming in loud and clear. Pete, nice going. See you in spring training. West Stockbridge isn't as big as Brattleboro, Vermont. It's in the same area, practically. Western Massachusetts and southern Vermont. This guy's a good RBI guy. We can go on and on about Carter. He has averaged over 100 RBIs a year in the last 5 years. We talk about it as Leo Mazzoni is going to go out and talk to his pitcher. Carter, top year was 121 RBIs with Cleveland in '86. He has 106 this year. It's the second time that he's done that. But he's averaged over 100 in the last 5 years. Only one time was he under 100.
And I think his year against the Braves is typical of the year he's had against the National League. He's 13 for 60 against the Braves, which translates to a little bit over 200. But with those 13 hits, he's driven home 15 runs against the Braves. So he's averaging almost an RBI a hit.
And sometimes they complain about the batting average. Now, if I've got a guy that's going to knock in 85 to 100 runs, I don't care what his batting average is.
You don't win by out hitting the opposition. They don't say we got 14 hits, they got 7, and we win. It's how many runs you put on the board. And I think when you get down to the bottom line, it's the producing of the runs that is important. Gorman Thomas, I played with him in Milwaukee for a number of years. Drove home a ton of runs, always hit 220. Who cared? If you make it out, how do you care how you make it out as long as you drive home the runs? Rob Deere, another guy like that.
And you know, when you knock in that many, you have got to have some 2-out hits. You've got to knock them in when they count. 3-0, and I don't know if he'll swing at this or not. All of a sudden, Smoltz has lost his radar. He did, and it's a base hit to left. He swung on a 3-0, given the green light, and there's a single, and they have runners at first and second. He didn't hit it well, but he got enough of it, broke his bat. When you're big and strong, you can do that. If that's a metal bat, it's probably against the wall. If they ever got a metal bat in the major leagues, somebody would get killed. I mean, you just couldn't play the game with a metal bat in the major league.
Well, they'd be filing liability suits 12 rows back in the bleachers out there because the ball would get there that quickly.
And the pitcher and third baseman, they'd be wearing catcher's paraphernalia. Well, I could imagine pitching in the major league with a metal bat. This is Santiago. And the curveball, did he swing? He might have. Yes, he did.
That's a break for John Smoltz. John is really struggling with this curveball. It's the pitch that's getting him in the hole, and he's staying with it. Here it is here. First pitch to Santiago, breaking ball down and away. He didn't want to go. We've seen that called a ball. We've seen it called a strike this year. But, you know, this is a lesson that John Smoltz, who's a youngster, is going to learn. Last night we saw Tom Glavine do a great job of damage control after runners got on. This is what John has to do right now. Not try to strike out 3, but give up some bases for some outs.
Oh, and Santiago is helping. He has swung at 2 balls in the dirt. 0-2. 2 bad curveballs. That one, I think, hit in the dirt off to the left of the plate.
Well, I guess you could walk him if you hold a gun to his head. He's been to bat about 310 times. He's walked 26 times.
He walks about as much as Andres Thomas. Some guys just don't walk.
Wouldn't you like to hear their definition of the strike zone?
Yes.
A thrown ball.
He struck him out, and that was out of the strike zone.
A good job by Ernie Witt of leading John Smoltz, showing him where he wants it. A good job by John Smoltz of following the lead and saying, okay, you're going to chase those. I'm going to give you a diet of them. Threw 3 in a row, low and away, got 3 swings. Now he's got 1 out, and a double play gets him out of the jam.
Pagliarulo, who reminds me of Don Mattingly. Incidentally, speaking of Mattingly, he played last night. They didn't think he'd play this year. He was a pinch hitter and got a double. There's a bad back. Pagliarulo has not done the job for San Diego. There's a bouncer to Treadway. There's one there. There's 2 there. A nice play by Treadway. He tagged the runner and threw to first, and that's a double play, and that helps everybody. As we go, let's look at this. Treadway said, I'm not going to throw it to the shortstop. I'll tag him. He spun around, and Pagliarulo, with just average speed, is out by about 6 feet. Very well done at second base. We go to the bottom of the second. They're dancing at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium as we go to the bottom of the second. Ernie Witt will lead it off, be followed by Jeff Blauser, then John Smoltz. No score, but a lot of base runners. Braves stranded 3 in the first. High pop, short left, Templeton. Back about 15 feet on the grass. He's got it. 1 pitch and 1 out. Now Blauser 0 for 4 last night, batting .258, 6 homers and 32 RBI. Jeff's father was down to the final game at San Francisco. Braves played there. That's a fly ball right that's going to twist off foul, I believe. And it is. Pinch hitting again for Skip Carey. Skip's doing football tomorrow night on TNT. Don't forget it. Pre-game show starts at 7 and the game at 8. And then he'll be away also next week, so I'll be able to be here for Fan Appreciation Weekend. We want to remind everyone that there'll be gifts given away Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Fan Appreciation Weekend.
That's the stadium show at 7. Fred Hickman is the host, and then Skip and Pat Hayden. And they have the Oilers visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh tomorrow. Wonder how Skip's going to like that when it gets down to 12 degrees.
Toward the hole. Might reach and does. Base hit Blauser. He hit one with eyes right between the shortstop and the third baseman. Well, they're going to do 9 games. They'll do 9 games on TNT. Probably won't be that cold by the time they get through the 9 games, but boy, it can get cold up there in Cleveland. That's one place. And Milwaukee.
The wind blows and it gets very cold, but that's what Richard Croker, working up here with us in the booth tonight, was reminding me that when it gets cold, we go inside and do basketball.
Yes. Smoltz takes a strike on the outside corner. He had squared the bunt. He might swing this time. Let's see if Bobby Cox has him going.
John leads the staff with 6 sacrifices. He and Charlie Liebrandt waging a pretty good race to see who's going to lead the pitching staff in hitting.
John wants to hit a homer. Runner going, swing a miss, throw. How about that? He is out. And if you've never seen Santiago throw somebody out from his knees, we're going to have it for you, hopefully on replay. He just threw out Blauser from his knees.
Throws from his knees, and the Padres might have gotten the benefit of a close call at second. Look at how strong his arm is. Templeton tags from the inside. The umpire at second base, Mike Winters, over on the shortstop side. From his view, he looked out. But what it does show, you take a look from this angle. Blauser slides, is in there, foot on the bag. Here comes the swipe on the back of him as he's starting to pop up. But one thing you could see from that, Santiago can throw from any angle.
Swing a miss, and that'll do it for Atlanta as Smoltz fans. We played 2, no score. Third inning coming your way from Atlanta. Joey Cora will lead it off. He'll be followed by Andy Bennis. Braves fans bringing their signs and their banners. We get the Shermans here. Larry Sherman family from Hopkinsville, and Peter Sherman family from Mobile, Alabama. Rollins is here, and their son, and Casey. Happy birthday, Casey Sherman. 7 big ones. Fastball over. Cora 0 for 1 last night. I've been waiting for him to come on like Bip Roberts, but so far he hasn't done it. Not a big guy. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a base hit to center field. Third hit off John Smoltz. They've had 1 in each inning. Now Bennis, and he'll probably bunt. Bennis is a big guy. He's got a strike zone about 6 feet. We'll keep you appraised of all the other scores. Or is it apprised? What is it, Richard? Appraised or apprised of the other scores?
We'll let them know.
Appraised? Appraised of the other scores. We've got a couple of pennant races to talk about.
Appraise means you're going to tell them what it's worth. Apprised is made aware of.
Okay, apprised then.
Yes.
Okay.
Why don't we just let them know?
Okay, we'll let them know how the other teams are doing in the American League and the National League.
Hey, we'll fetch them some answers.
You know something? You're getting a little like Skip. There's a perfect sacrifice. It rubs off, you know, after a while. After a while, they've got a runner at second base. Sacrifice is perfect. Moving Cora down to second base. Now Bip Roberts, as Bennett makes his way back. As I mentioned, Pittsburgh playing Montreal tonight, and Zane Smith is going for the Bucks. He's pitched very well. He has 10 wins. They must win unless they want to fall to a half game in front of New York. They're 1.5 right now, and the curveball inside. And if they lose, they're all even in the loss column, and that's all the players look for. Meanwhile, in the American League East, Boston only a 3-game lead on Toronto. Toronto has won this afternoon, and the White Sox are playing Boston in Chicago tonight. And the pitch is low. Georgia Bulldogs won one today over Southern Miss. Field goal attempt hit the upright with about 30 seconds to go. 18-17. Red and black. Alabama is still winless. They lost today to Florida. Well, there have been a lot of upsets in the first couple of weeks of the football season. 3-0. He might swing at this. He might not swing at that. 3-1. On deck is Gary Templeton. These two teams have played 16 times this year, and they've each won 8 games. The curveball inside, ball 4. Smoltz having problems with his control. Even though he's walked only 2, he's been behind a lot. Not easy to pitch behind in the count because they can look for their pitch. Now Templeton, who hit into a double play, Smoltz fielded it and fired down the Treadway, and they completed it on a nice pivot by Treadway. Gwynn is on deck. Rob Piccolo is their first base coach, and there's a high pop. Should be caught by Presley or Blauser. Presley, infield fly roll. He's automatically out. That's 2 away for Tony Gwynn.
A lot of times, Ernie, there are things you don't see in the center of the picture when you're watching a ball game because that's where the ball is going. But some of the things happening away from the ball are very important. John Smoltz that time with runners at first and second. Blauser and Presley had to vacate third. With nothing to do, he went and stood on third. Now, if the ball is fair and it's dropped, then he's there. Or if it's caught and Cora tries to sneak over, he had nothing to do but stand at third, and he did the unnoticed right thing.
Tony Gwynn. And the curveball missed. 1-0. Airtime tomorrow is 2:05. Steve Avery pitches for Atlanta, and Dennis Rasmussen will go for the Pods. Then the Dodgers here Monday and Tuesday. Giants Wednesday and Thursday. Fouled away. Next weekend, Fan Appreciation Weekend, it's Houston. And the home schedule has been completed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, the Dodgers won big last night over Cincinnati to get back to within 5.5, but 6 in the loss column. Look out all the way to the screen, and that's probably going to be a wild pitch. Runners move to second and third. They haven't made the decision yet as to whether it's a wild pitch or pass ball.
The one thing John will want to work on, and as he gets a little bit more mature, he'll find out he doesn't have to overthrow. That was a fastball that he just tried to gun in on Gwynn, and it went down and in, and it is scored a wild pitch.
Now they've got 2 runners in scoring position for a tough hitter. He swung. He swung at that ball. They got to ask the third base umpire, and they do finally. With a left-handed batter, you ask the third base ump. And Davis says he swung.
Good breaking ball. He threw the down and in fastball by him, put the slider in the same spot, and you will not see Tony Gwynn take that swing too many times.
Now time is called by Ernie Witt. He goes out to talk to Smoltz. He might say, hey, keep the breaking ball up just a little bit.
Just a touch.
Just a touch, because we got a runner at third.
He's also saying you have first base open. Either make good pitches to this guy, because remember last time you walked Clark. So if you don't want to face Clark with the bases loaded, then let's get Gwynn out. This is the longest meeting I've ever seen between a between a catcher and a pitcher.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Runners at second and third. Gwynn, who's really up in that batter's box. He almost steps out of the batter's box with that front foot. Line toward right center. Can't make it. That ball is going all the way to the wall or close to it, and 2 in, and Gwynn on his way to third will have a stand-up triple. Gant tried to dive and catch it, couldn't. And Gwynn, who was batting .480 against Smoltz, shows you why.
Breaking ball away. It was a pretty good pitch. Had him off balance. You can see he hit it with one hand. Just served it into right center field. And Ron Gant couldn't quite get to it. The prudent move would have been to play it on the hop and just give up the 1 run. But once it got past him, there was no doubt it was going to be 2, maybe 3, and possibly an inside the park. Good hustle by Dave Justice saved the inside the Parker, but the Padres lead it 2-0. And for Gwynn, that's his 10th triple of the year.
And an all-time high in RBIs. There's a pop foul up this way into the upper deck. Gwynn now with 72 RBIs. Last night he hit into 2 double plays with runners in scoring position.
I wonder if that's a first in his career. Because he normally puts the ball in play somewhere other than right at infielders.
There's another example of what we were talking about before. Curve outside. I'm sure Padre management is saying, hey, Tony, we don't worry about winning the batting title. If you keep knocking in 75, 80 runs, this is an all-time high, and he's probably going to end up with over 80 RBIs. That is really an accomplishment. And the curveball, did he go? They say yes. 1-2.
Isn't it a little unfair? And we probably won't have time to discuss it fully this inning. We'll come back and talk about it after the pitch.
Outside.
Don't you think it's unfair that the standard that Tony Gwynn is measured by is one that has a batting average of about 340 or 345? Anything that is acceptable for most other people is a bad year for him. Is that fair to measure a person by the best he's ever done?
No, I don't think so. I think there are other things that enter into it. And this year in particular, I would say I'd rather have Gwynn knock in more runs than have a higher batting average. It is so important. Knocking in runs and scoring runs. They drive bigger cars, you know, those guys that knock in runs. Singles hitters drive the smaller ones. There's a curveball, and I believe that missed outside, and it did. So Clark walks again. He leads the league in walks.
That's an example of what I was talking about earlier. He has a zone that's from the middle of the plate in, and unless you throw it there, he takes it, because he thinks there are very few pitchers who can throw that ball 8.5 inches on the outer half of the plate in the strike zone. So if he sees it out there, he takes it. So he only swings at anything from the middle in.
Now Joe Carter. First and third and 2 down. There's a base hit to left. He reached out and stroked that curveball, and he's got himself another RBI. And it's 3-0, and Carter now has 107 RBI.
Same sort of swing, same sort of base hit that Joe Carter got back in the second. Off the end of the bat. Good pitch in a good spot. But he's so strong that all he has to do is get a little of it, and he can get it to the outfield grass.
That might start the Braves bullpen. Smoltz has pitched so well, as Don mentioned. Just about all his starts, he's pitched at least 6 innings, and most of the time 7+ to 9 innings in all of his starts recently. But today, he's given up 3 runs. We're in the 3rd inning, and 5 hits. If he can get out of it, this game is still anybody's ball game. It's early. Santiago struck out last time on bad curveballs. Clark at second and Carter at first. 0-2.
Got away with one there. Not all outs and not all strikes are on perfect pitches. That's a breaking ball in the outer half that Santiago just got out on his front foot and missed.
Urulo was on deck. We're zipping right along, folks. We're already in the top half of the 3rd. 3-0 Pods, and there is a foul away. San Diego's had a disappointing year, too. They were expected to not only, well, a lot of people thought they'd win, or not win it. They would be a strong contender, and they've been anything but. They're 15 games out. They're in 4th place. They won 66 and lost 77. They got a lot of talent. The feeling of many, too much talent to be that low in the standing. He struck him out with a fastball. Santiago down on strikes on a good fastball from Smoltz, but they pick up 3. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. We're going to the bottom of the 3rd. Rita's hit a home run for the Pirates. They lead Montreal 1-0 after 1, and the Dodgers lead Cincinnati 1-0 going to the bottom of the 3rd. That's Martinez against Jackson. And the Red Sox lead the White Sox 2-0 going to the 3rd. Harris against Hibbert. Here it's 3-zip as you're looking at Bobby Cox and Dave Pursley. The Braves trying for their 60th win tonight. Lonnie Smith leads it off. He flied to left the first time up. Fastball outside. Line toward left center in for a base hit. Well, let's see if that's the start or something here for Atlanta. A single, the 3rd hit off Bennett.
Hasn't he had the quietest good year you've heard about? He has 7 homers. He's hitting over 300. He has 24 doubles. He has 8 triples, which puts him in the top 5. But you never see his name mentioned at the top of or at the front of anybody's mind as somebody having a good year.
I think they might be comparing it to last year when he had more RBIs.
That's back to what we talked about before. Do you compare a good year to the best that you've ever had, or to what's good?
The reason he hasn't had as many RBIs this year, I think he's batting in the leadoff spot possibly more than last year. This is Treadway batting with Smith at first. This is employee night. We've got many employees out for the ball game. It's also Dave Justice poster night. There's a ball high.
Great poster. Did you get one? It shows Dave Justice sitting in a judge's robes on a bench.
Beautiful.
You know, behind the bench.
Beautiful.
That's good.
Wayne Long and his crew have worked hard this year on promotions, merchandising. Driven to right field. Will the ballpark hold it? Gwynn off the top of the wall and off his glove. Smith to 3rd. They're going to hold him. And Treadway just missed hitting one out of here. Tony Gwynn just missed catching it. Bonnie had to wait to make sure the ball wasn't caught. We're going to take another look at this. Let's see if Tony Gwynn hurt himself. Yes, he did.
His 16th double, he came very close to getting his 12th home run. Jumped on a high fastball. Watch Gwynn go back to the wall. He's feeling for it with his left hand. Gets there, jumps, and it actually hits him on the top of his head. Looked like as it came off the wall. He's coming in. He may have jammed his wrist as he went into the wall. You don't see him come off of there. You can see he's got the glove off and he's been squeezing the fingers. So you don't see an outfielder come strolling in like this unless something's wrong. So he may have jammed that wrist into the wall. Maybe we can re-rack it and take another look.
And let's see if the ball hits him in the head on top of it.
Well, watch his right knee here. Watch the knee go up, bang against the wall, and then he catches it foot. And now watch when he lands. See the leg collapse and twist under there?
And the ball did hit him right on top of the head.
And I think he's going to have to call it a night. Well, he had a couple of chances of having something go wrong. He was very close to the wall, and when he reached with his glove hand, he hit the wall with his glove hand. He hit the side of it with his leg when he came down. They're not sure if he's going to go in and have some repair work done or if there's going to be a change, but anytime you see a guy like a Tony Gwynn voluntarily head for the dugout, you know he has banged himself up.
Great effort. He got off the ground and almost caught the ball.
Well, we get word that the trainer was examining the index finger on his glove hand. That would make sense if he jammed that glove into the wall. But we still don't have any word yet if they're going to send somebody else. Yes, Abner is going to take his place. We will try to get the information as we can as to the seriousness of the damage, but it's obvious. Let's take one more look. We got it in slow-mo. Now watch, he's feeling with his left hand. When he goes up, the right hand is slammed against the wall. Now when he comes down, it looks like he had just slammed that glove hand against the wall. He may have, much like we saw Ernie Witt reach and tag a runner and dive and get it jammed, he may have jammed that thumb or index finger into the wall as he goes up. Now, just like a pitcher who comes in to replace an injured pitcher, Sean Abner will be given opportunity to loosen up, because there's a pretty good chance he was sitting there with his feet propped up thinking that if I do anything, it won't be till the 8th or 9th. So he's going to play catch in center field with Joe Carter.
Sean Abner threw 18 touchdown passes as a high school player up in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and the Georgia Bulldogs had come on down to Athens. He thought about it, and then he decided to go to baseball.
Should we get a look at the score sheet and maybe update him on some scores while Abner's playing catch? Well, I guess he's ready, so we'll just hang in there and give you that a little bit later. There's a poster. Is that a great shot?
Beautiful.
Justice prevails. Yesterday's picture showed Ron Gant with weights, and it's pumping Gant.
And here is Ron Gant, who singled last time up. Atlanta trailing at 3-0, but they get a chance now to cut into that lead. There's nobody out.
You don't have to try to get them all back at once, because you got 6 more swings, but you have to come out of a situation with this with at least 1 and hopefully 2.
Dennis, who's had base runners every inning, as is the policy when he pitches, is a high pop. Going to be caught by, let's see who. Cora makes the catch. A big out for Bennis. He gets Gant on a pop to the second sacker. And now Dave Justice, they might, well, we'll see how they pitch to him. They got a base open. Greg is on deck. He's another left-handed hitter.
Bobby Cox has made it kind of hard for them to pitch around Justice tonight, because he has backed him with a left-handed hitter in Tommy Gregg with the right-hander out there. Were it Presley, then you might see him get pitched around a little bit more, because you'd get the right-hander against the right-hander.
Santiago sometimes gives a sign different. You know, he moves his body over to the outside corner and then reaches in with his glove. Let's see if he does it here. He did then. He kind of pushes the glove inside, but his body is outside.
He'd be hard for me to pitch to. As I always ducked
Gotta
my head and
square
I
up.
came up. When I came out of the windup, the first thing I picked up was where the catcher's mitt was. So in a situation like his, I'd be looking at him and trying to follow the mitt. He catches like a first baseman.
0-1. Fouled away. No balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, runners second and third. And Santiago's going to talk to him now. He's quickly out in front as Tommy Gregg takes a couple of practice swings. Lonnie Smith is at third. Treadway is at second. Smith singled and Treadway almost hit it out of here. It was up around that yellow line. Just needed one more weedy. Well, that wasn't close. He wasted the fastball. One ball, 2 strikes. Popped him up. Over by third. So Gant and Justice both pop out. Pagliarulo with the catch. So a great scoring opportunity rests on the shoulders of Tommy Gregg, who walked the first time up. Gregg has 24 RBIs. This is Pat Dobson, isn't it?
Yes, it is. He's a pitching coach. Pat, who was a good over-the-top breaking ball pitcher, knows the mechanics of pitching, has a great rapport with his pitchers, has worked with Milwaukee for a while, came over here, took Bennis as his personal project last year, didn't like what they had done with his delivery in the minor leagues, and worked on refining it a little bit back to what they had seen before. And what he's telling Bennis right here is, hey, you got the left-hander up, you have a base open, you overpowered Presley last time, make good pitches to Gregg and don't get stupid, because you still have the right-hander coming up. The percentage is in your favor. Get this guy if you can, but don't get beat if you get behind.
I think Pat Dobson was on that staff at Baltimore, and he won 20 games along with maybe Palmer and McNally.
Cuellar.
Yeah, they had a great pitching staff, and he was one of the 20-game winners.
Big, over-the-top, big breaking curveball.
He came to the Braves as a pitcher for part of one season. Tommy Gregg.
Also pitched with the Padres.
We're at 2 outs now. They were at second and third with nobody out. And that's fouled away. 0-1. Old-time ball players mighty pleased, because if the government approves it, pension plans for players who retire between 46 and 48, and also players after that year, all pension benefits are going to be increased due to the huge sum of money that's in the coffers of the baseball players union.
That's up to 1969, isn't it, Ernie?
Yeah, I believe.
I think from 69 on back they're working on those, and some of those increases are going to be as much as 115%. And I think that's great, because there are some guys who made marvelous contributions to baseball, to Major League Baseball, and helped start the pension program, who were only getting like $400 or $500 a month, and maybe even less than that. So that's good.
Fastball up and in.
It's there, so why not share it to some people who didn't get a chance to earn the big money?
Yes, I understand the government said, hey, you can only have so much money in the plan, so divvy it up. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And as you mentioned, the guys that retired in the 40s and early 50s, their pension rights weren't very high, and they can really use it. 1-2. That fastball had a little zip on it. He sailed it outside, and it's almost like you'd bet the mortgage he's going to get a curveball for some reason. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Runner second and third. It's up to Gregg. 2 outs. See if he gets a curve. It was a breaking ball. Missed inside. Might have been a slider. 3-2. Presley on deck. Gregg was obtained from the Pirates for Ken Oberkfell. Fastball hit foul past third. He made Lonnie Smith swat and broke his bat. That's why you take your lead in foul territory. You're in fair territory. You're out if the ball hits you. Three balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, runners second and third. We're in the bottom of the third. If you just tuned us in, and we thank you for doing that, it's San Diego 3, Atlanta nothing. Each team for the year has won 8 games against one another. We close it out tomorrow. Airtime at 2:05. Young Steve Avery will pitch for Atlanta. We see the Dodgers for 2, San Francisco for 2, and Houston for 3 next week. And a pitch. Breaking ball struck him out. Well, give Andy Bennett some credit, too. He came back with runners at second and third and nobody out and got the next 3 hitters. Here we look at it going out. It is a breaking ball that Gregg couldn't get. And we move to the 4th inning, down by 3 big ones. Pagliarulo at the plate. We go to the 4th. Here's Don.
All right, Ernie, thank you very much. Braves trail it 3-0. Padres picked up all 3 last inning in the 3rd. Had a chance to get some in the 2nd, but Pagliarulo grounded into a double play turned nicely by Treadway, who tagged Carter, then threw to first, doubling up Pagliarulo. Off the hands to short. Routine for Blauser. 1 pitch, 1 out. Gonna bring up Joey Cora. Let's see, I think next weekend on SEC football we have Vanderbilt on, and that will be of particular interest to Joey Cora. Joey is from Caguas, Puerto Rico, but pulled his college hitch at Vanderbilt and rewrote a lot of their records. Right now he's not setting any records with his batting average or his homers, but he could figure very definitely in the future plans of the Padres. Takes the fastball off the outside corner. It's strike 1. 25 years old, 5'8", 150 pounds, switch hitter out of Caguas, PR. Working on his 2nd year in the big leagues. Outside, it's 1-1. Plays winter ball in Puerto Rico every year. Went to Vanderbilt, where he rewrote the record book. He was named 2nd team All-American, and twice he was All-SEC. Joey Cora. Originally a shortstop, and before the year's over, you might see him playing a little bit more there for the Padres. They're looking to fill the void that's going to be created when Templeton leaves. Picks on the high fastball, doesn't hit it very hard, but again, the Padres start the inning with a base hit and a base runner. Actually, a 1-out single here. Padres haven't really hit the ball that well, but they've managed to get 6 hits off John Smoltz. He's also contributed 2 walks to their cause. So Cora is 2 for 2, and Bennis will be up. He's sacrificed back in inning number 3. Moved Cora into scoring position. He later scored the first run of the evening for the Padres. He's bunting again. Smoltz to first, and Cora is back.
I continue to be amazed at the ideas some people have. And the latest was, as we talked about expansion in 1993.
It'll be a good sacrifice. Tommy Gregg will have to field it. Tosses to Treadway. Cora goes to second. You score the sacrifice 3-4. Treadway, Gregg to Treadway. Yes, sir?
You and I talked about 18 different groups representing 10 cities want to get a major league franchise, and there was one group, still, as I say, it amazed me. One group said that we'd like a franchise, but we will play in 4 different cities.
Of his right index.
No way that's going to work.
No, that's not going to work.
No, one of the things why you try to establish is loyalty to a team in a city. You spread it through 4 cities, it just wouldn't work. But they had an idea. I don't think it's going to materialize.
2 outs, a runner in scoring position. The Padres lead it 3-0. Think we can get enough volume on the PA announcements here? I know you had to hear that all the way to Portland, Oregon, without the benefit of our sound. 1-0 to Bip Roberts. Roberts has singled and walked. He scored 1. Fouls away the curveball.
The announcer was on Tony Gwynn.
Is like a lot of players, he holds the index finger out of the glove. As he went up to try to make the catch, he jammed the index finger on the wall, so they're taking him to the hospital to have it x-rayed. Certainly we hope that there is no real serious damage, and he'll be back soon, maybe Monday. Outside with the fastball, it's 2-1.
Monday would be good.
Monday would be perfect. Bip Roberts is at 306. Little man generates some power. He has 7 homers. He's driven home 40. Off the fist and down the left field line. It's 2-2. Pagliarulo grounded to short. Cora single was sacrificed to second. 2 outs, 2-2 on Bip Roberts. Roberts was moved into the leadoff spot last year to middle of June. He hit .320 the rest of the year, flourished in that spot. First round pick of the Padres back in 1982. Starting his 9th year, or completing his 9th year in pro ball. Pickoff attempt. Cora wasn't going anywhere. Curveball high, fairly deep to right. Back to the warning track, but Justice now has a bead on it. Tracks it down, pulls it in, and that'll retire the Padres in the 4th. They get a base runner. He's left stranded. As we go to the middle of the 4th, the Braves need 3 to get even. Braves need 3 to get even. It'll be up to Presley, Witt, and Blauser. After this game is over, stay tuned. U.S. Olympic Gold, the IAAF Mobile Grand Prix Track and Field Finals. We'll have it right here on TBS as soon as the Braves dispense with the Padres. Presley grounded to third. Bennis kept the fastball in on him. Upstairs, that's one of those swings where it looked like he had his mind made up to swing if whatever was thrown. Earl and Jill Aycock from Meridian, Mississippi, celebrating their 11th anniversary at the Braves ball game tonight. Congratulations. A group of people, a softball team from the A&S Motor House from Winston-Salem here for the Class C Softball World Series.
Good. That is a home of Goody's headache powders. Winston-Salem.
The Fishers and the Coxes from Lumberton, North Carolina are here. Lily and Papa from Lumber City, Georgia. Kim, Randy, and Betty are here. Want to say hello to them. Breaking ball swung on. It's now 1-2. And Jennifer Jewell is celebrating her 16th birthday at the Braves ball game. Want to wish her a very happy, sweet 16th birthday and have a good time. One and 2 to Presley. Deep to center field, but Carter is now backing up. That normally means he has a bead on it. One slap of the glove on the thigh means he has it tracked, and Presley's gone. Hit it well, but in the deepest part of the park.
Don, we got a lot of gifts to be given away on Fan Appreciation Weekend, including television sets from Hitachi Home Electronics. We've got a
couple of those, isn't there?
Yes, a lot of them. 1990 Mercury Cougar, courtesy Roswell Lincoln Mercury. Round-trip air transportation for 2 to anywhere by Delta Airlines, and just hundreds of gifts for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week.
Witt takes a fastball. It's on the outside corner, strike 1. Ernie popped a short his last at bat. Still struggling with the bat. That batting average down in the middle 160s. Off speed, grounded to first. Clark will probably take it himself. No, he feeds Bennis.
He's over there. Come on over, Andy.
I can't believe it. 6 feet away from the bag. You got to take that yourself.
Most of the time they wave the pitcher off, but he was motoring pretty well, so he said, come on in.
Well, those are the kind that they pad their assist totals with.
Does anybody care about assists anymore? They don't even list them, do they?
Some guys do. Yes,
Oh.
they do. There are some first basemen who will feed you that all the time to get the totals up. Blauser first pitch swinging. Hits it way up the chute over near the Padre dugout. Pagliarulo is there, and what a simple, easy ending for Andy Bennis. The fly to center, the grounder to first, the pop to third. 1, 2, 3 go the Braves. We played 4 in Atlanta. Padres still up by 3. To the 5th, the Padres take a 3-0 lead. Templeton and Abner and Clark. Templeton has grounded into a double play. He's popped to third. Third on the all-time hit list for the Padres. That's a stat that sneaks up on a lot of people. Who do you think he trails? Well, he's getting closer to whoever's in seconds. First pitch swinging, singles to right. He's 1 for 3. He trails Gwynn and Dave Winfield, who is in second spot. So once again, the Padres get a base runner. And that'll bring up Sean Abner. In case you joined us late, Tony Gwynn jammed his index finger of his glove hand, the right hand, into the wall in right field, attempting to catch a Jeff Treadway fly ball high off the wall. Abner came on for him. There you see his numbers.
Got a call from Skip Carey. He's watching tonight. He's not missing a pitch. He says, "Go Braves." Old Skip.
Or something to that effect.
Yes.
1-0 to Abner. He calls just so we'll get him on the air. You know, his new job, he only gets on the air once a week. Deep to center field. Gant has his back to the plate. Now he squares up. Makes the play. Abner got most of it, but it's a fly ball to center. 1 gone. Jack Clark will be the batter. We got a group of fans over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. That's a neat little town in the upper part of the state. Mama Lee is 88 years young, and Aunt Mary Welsh, #1 Braves fans in the whole state of Mississippi. They always tune us in, and we thank them. Clark is no official at bat. He has walked twice. John Smoltz has made pitches on him that would strike out 95% of the National League. Nothing to show for it but a couple of base on balls. Strike 1 with the fastball. Has a streak going. 0-1. Templeton at first. Padres up 3-0. Lays off the high fastball. 1-1. Also want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Delbert Ball from Richmond, Virginia. Nice little package showed up in the booth. Some chocolate chip and get this, cornflake cookies. In case you want to send those packages, we will certainly give the address. Templeton's on the move. The throw to second. He's dead.
Neat throw by Ernie Witt. Templeton running, and Ernie's been throwing better. The pitch knocked the hitter down, and Treadway's waiting for him. Easily out is Templeton.
Witt has cut about a half a second off his throwing time with that one-step quick release, much like that used by Bob Boone over with Kansas City. Carlton Fisk also does it. A number of the older guys picked it up. 2-1 to Clark. Downstairs, it's 3-1.
Do I see Paula Carey down there and Josh?
Yeah, she's
Got a group of kids out.
Skips on the road, and she's at the game with a younger man.
Yes.
Young Josh.
Young Josh.
The fastball is there. Strike 2. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Careful now, pal.
I was very careful. He's a fine-looking young man. Three balls and 2 strikes to Clark. Ball 4. He's walked 3 times tonight. That's 5 in a row. 5 consecutive times he has been to bat. 5 consecutive times he's walked. That's the 4th issued by John Smoltz. It'll bring up Joe Carter. He's perfect. A pair of singles. drove home Gwynn in the third inning with RBI number 107. In there with the fastball, 0-1. That ball's not high, he said. In the American League, Joe, that's in the middle of the strike zone. 0-1. Well, you're going to tiptoe off after one more out, aren't you?
Yes, Pete and I'll change places. The professor will be over from radio.
Curveball stays inside. It's 1-1.
Guy's a good athlete. He's very fast, too. He can steal a base.
Wanted to swing at that hanging breaking ball, decided to take it, stayed inside. It's 2-1.
His 19 stolen bases have been caught only 6 times.
Swings at this curveball, popped high in the air. It'll be over near the stands. Witt there, Presley there. It'll be Ernie Witt taking charge. So Carter's gone, and so are the Padres. They got a base runner. He's left stranded. We go to the middle of the 5th. Braves need 3 to get even. A part of the crowd here, probably about 5,000 tonight. Braves down by 3. Smoltz, Smith, and Treadway. The Mets over the Phillies today. They're playing in the 5th inning in Cincinnati. Martinez against Jackson. Dodgers are up by 1. They're all even in Montreal. That's 1-1. Chicago is at St. Louis, no score. San Francisco at Houston, no score. We'll tell you a little bit about the American League a little bit later. Don Sutton along with Pete Van Weeren coming over from radio. Awfully glad you decided to spend your evening with us. Braves down by 3. The Padres got all 3 of theirs in the 3rd inning. Fastball in there to John Smoltz. John struck out to end the 2nd inning. He was strikeout victim number 2. Bennis has 3 for the night. 1 ball, 1 strike. A breaking ball, it's there, 1-2. Up and away, it's 2-2. Off the end of the bat, to right field. Abner one-hands it. Smoltz is gone.
It's a string of 7 straight retired now by Bennis. He doesn't very often do that. The San Diego media folks talking about the number of innings this year he's pitched. He has not had many 1, 2, 3 innings. Almost always seems to walk one guy or give up a base hit here or there.
Well, the game started that way in the first, Pete. Treadway walk, a Gant single. And then Justice struck out when a base hit might have put the Braves on top. Then another walk to Gregg, and then Presley grounded out. So he has really only had 2 1, 2, 3 innings tonight. Actually only 1. The second one was, that's kind of somewhat slanted because they had to throw out a guy at second base.
Tells you 2 things about him. He's a little bit inconsistent being a young pitcher, but it also tells you he's able to pitch out of trouble.
Jams don't bother him. 2-0 to Lonnie Smith. Lonnie is flied to left. He's singled. Very quietly having himself one heck of a year. 10 stolen bases, 307 batting average. Fouls back the 2-0. It's 2-1. His numbers rank right there with most of the rest of the leaders in the league. Triples, batting average, but one that doesn't get talked about very much. There's another base hit for Lonnie Smith. That'll send him even higher in the batting average standings.
Well, he had raised it a point to 307 with that hit in the 3rd. This probably gets him up to about 308. He hit 315 last year. Still has an outside chance of getting to that level.
Jeff Treadway has walked and doubled, came within inches of homering. The 3rd inning, that's the fly ball that Tony Gwynn jammed his finger into the wall, had to leave the ball game. Bennis is not the smoothest. He is no Rudolph Nurier.
No, he's Kind of herky-jerky out there. Really labors. Really appears to be extending every ounce of effort into every pitch.
Do you think that maybe a smaller, skinnier, less physically strong pitcher could pitch his way?
Probably not.
Drops the breaking ball in. It's 1-1 because you can see he is physically a big man and is really strong with a strong hip, back muscles, strong upper body. But when he throws, you can see that it's not a fluid delivery. 1-1 to Treadway. Lonnie Smith at first. He's single.
Probably helps his effectiveness too. It could be very difficult to time him if you're a hitter.
The breaking ball misses. It's 2-1. Treadway's hit as his average up to 289. Doesn't get the high heater. It's 2-2. Bennis comes into this ball game 1-0 in 2 starts against the Braves. He's only given them 4 earned runs in 14 innings. Gets Treadway on the high breaking ball.
Well, he had Jeff looking for a fastball here. You can tell by Jeff's swing. Look when Jeff starts the swing. He's right up on that front foot already.
With 2 out, it'll be up to Ron Gant to keep it going. Gant single in the first. With runners at second and third in the third. Picked on the first pitch and popped it to second. Takes the fastball, strike 1. Justice followed that with a pop to third, so with 2 outs, the Braves were unable to pick up either of the runners in scoring position. Gant's at 295, 1 homer shy of 30, 5 stolen bases shy of 30. Outside corner again with a little help from Santiago. It's 0-2. Up and away. Gant swings right through it. He's gone. That's strikeout number 5 for Bennis. And again, the Braves lead a base runner stranded. We have played 5 in Atlanta. Andy Bennis and the San Diego Padres lead it 3-0.
And our Reebok trivia question: what National League team had the most 20 home run hitters in a single season? Think about it. Take your guess, and we'll give you the answer a little later.
For the Padres, it'll be Santiago, Pagliarulo, and Cora. The first 2, the only 2 that really haven't made a contribution to the Padres tonight. Upstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. John Smoltz has 2 strikeouts. Benito Santiago has struck out twice. A breaking ball and a dandy. It's 1-1.
I'm just gonna take a guess. I'll say the Giants.
Well, they did go through a stretch where they had some mashers there, didn't they? The 1-1 to Santiago. Looped into left field. And that's been typical of the Padre hits all night, except for the Tony Gwynn triple off the end of the bat.
Giants had a year back in the 40s when they were still in the Polo Grounds when they hit something like 221 or 2 home runs. And everybody was hitting them out. Might have been a team like that. Of course, it was only about 270 down the line in the Polo Grounds.
We're in the 6th inning at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium, and 5 of the 6 innings the Padres have gotten the leadoff hitter on. Santiago is first. Pagliarulo, did he hold up? No, he did not. He went around. Strike 1. Pagliarulo is grounded to second. Treadway turned it into a double play. He is grounded to short. He's 0 for 2. His batting average much higher than we have ever seen it, but the power numbers down. He has only contributed 3 home runs. He's only driven home 30 this year. Not the power numbers the Padres were expecting when they got Mike Pagliarulo from the Yankees. 3-0 Padres. 3 runs, 6 hits. No runs, 5 hits for the Braves. Off the fist. A little parachute for Treadway. Pagliarulo's gone. Santiago back to first.
That's one of Mike is walking back to the dugout now, knowing he's going to hear from his teammates about that swing.
He's also a guy that gets somewhat intense too. He might be one that they say it after they see the first smile, and that may not come to tomorrow. He just
yeah, the helmet just flew in and then out of the dugout.
And the bat just made its way down the tunnel, not of its own accord. Cora will be the batter. He's perfect tonight. He has a pair of singles. He scored one. To center field, Gant, a couple of steps over. It's an easy out. Cora's gone. 2 gone. Andy Bennis will be the batter. Bennis not exactly a power threat. He is tattooing it at an .094 batting average. 5 for 53. He has driven home 2, but he has helped himself tonight with a pair of sacrifices. His first one in the 3rd inning led to the first Padre run. Takes ball 1. Out of the University of Evansville. What a great year he had last year. From being the first draft pick in the country to pitching in the major leagues. All within a short span of just months. Smoltz has fallen behind 3-0 to the pitcher. Just turned 23. He's 6'6", weighs around 230. Born in Evansville, still makes his home there. Strike 1 on the fastball. Started in Double-A after being the #1 pick in the country. Was 8-4 at Wichita. Went on up to Las Vegas where he was 2-1 and then finished the year in the big leagues. Pops it high back toward the screen. Witt is back there and watches it fall in the first row. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ended up in San Diego in time to make 10 starts. He was 6-3 in those 10. Established that he could pitch in the major leagues. He pitched 66 innings. He walked 31. He struck out 66. His earned run average a respectable 3.5 after being called up. Another member of that 1988 Olympic team. Boy, were there some good ones on that team. Swings, doesn't get it. He's gone on strikes. That'll do it for the Padres. They get a base runner again. He is left stranded. We have played 5.5 here in Atlanta. Braves are still down by 3.
Well, let's see how you all did and how we all did with the Reebok Trivia question tonight. What National League team had the most 20 home run hitters in a single season? It was the Braves.
In 65.
That was the last year they were in Milwaukee. Aaron had 32, Matthews 32, Mac Jones 31, Joe Torre 27, Gene Oliver 21, and Philippe Ballou 23.
Ooh, am I glad I missed that year. I was serving them up at Albuquerque. They would have had more. Justice, Gregg, and Presley will be the batter. We're having a little bit of time. Bennis is headed for the dugout. Not sure if he wears contacts or what, but he's coming over to get a little bit of eye solution. I can see you putting stuff in your eyes if you're facing Cincinnati, because every time you pitch against them, it helps to have one of those murine balls. Gets the red out. That's sick, isn't it?
It's Speaking of the Cincinnati Reds, let's take a look at our B.F. Goodrich National League standings, where they have not been able to get the Reds out of first place yet. The Dodgers are 5.5 games back, though, and leading again tonight. Giants still alive, 6.5 out. And over in the National League East, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. The New York Mets winners today. The Pirates need to win tonight to get that lead back up to a game and a half.
Okay, you can level with me. That was terrible, wasn't it?
That was a groaner.
Yeah, okay. Well, Bennis has himself all focused in. Young man is working on a 5-hitter.
I was just looking up something. The amazing thing about that 65 Braves team, 6 guys with 20 or more home runs, and they finished 5th.
He must not have had a whole lot of pitching. Justice, 0 for 2, struck out, popped to third. Breaking ball stays upstairs. It's 1-0. A groaner, huh?
Gets the red out.
Changeup is down. It's 2-0. Well, I didn't bring my time-killing material. It's in my other briefcase. 2-0 to Justice. Deep to right center field. Carter back to the track, to the wall. Got it against the wall. Justice, within a few feet of home run number 25, comes up short.
That patented Dave Justice swinging a fastball right down the heart of the plate. And this ball went about 394 feet. It's about 395 to the wall there.
1 out, and Tommy Gregg will be the batter. He has walked, he struck out. Walked into first, loading the bases loaded with 2 outs. Pops this one high. Shallow center. Cora is out. Templeton's out, but Carter's there. So to the wall for 1 catch. To deep second base for another. 2 gone, and Jim Presley. Grounded to third. He is flied to center. Since getting a leadoff single and a double from Jeff Treadway, with nobody out in the third, Andy Bennis has retired 12 out of the last 13 he's faced. Only a Lonnie Smith single interrupted it. Marvin Freeman starts to throw down in the Braves bullpen. Strike 1 to Presley. Freeman down from Philadelphia in the trade that sent Joe Baver up there. 0-1 to Presley. Now let's reload. Presley getting some satisfaction out of putting 19 home runs and 70 RBIs on the board.
Pitcher's mulligan here.
Re-tee it. No swing. Again, the breaking ball. It's 1-1. Jim is a free agent at the end of the year. Some clubs I know have expressed an interest, not openly, but Jim likes it here, would like to stay here. And as I understand it, the Braves have kind of gone against the long-standing policy and have already opened conversations with him.
Yeah, they are talking with Jim's agent right now. Talked with Bobby Cox about that before the game tonight. But the word they're getting from the agent is we probably will go out and test the free agent market.
Just to get a set of numbers, huh?
Yeah, and the numbers are what have the Braves worried.
They say he went around on that. First baseman Ron Barnes calls it a strike. It's 1-2. High in the air, back a second. Templeton is there. Cora is there. It's going to be Cora. Makes the put out. Braves go quietly in the 6th. 1-2-3 inning for Andy Bennis. We head to the 7th. Padres up by 3. We played 6 here in Atlanta. Padres did all their scoring in the third. Braves down by 3. Here to take you home, Pete.
Okay, thank you, Don. Biff Roberts taking a strike in the outside corner. Roberts tonight a single, a walk, and a fly to right. He has scored his 91st run of the year. Has a chance to score 100 this year, and that's the leadoff man's role, to score runs. 0-2 the count now. Templeton and Abner will follow. Now an 0-2 pitch on the way from Smoltz. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Steve Avery against Dennis Rasmussen in the final meeting of these two teams for the year tomorrow afternoon. And then the Dodgers come in. There was some talk about Pete Smith starting in the game Tuesday night. Working a couple of innings, but he's gone a little backward in his rehab program. Felt a little twinge again last time he threw. 1 hop to second. Nice play, Treadway. On to first in time. So the Braves are going to take no chances with Pete Smith. They're going to let him throw on the side again, maybe Monday or Tuesday, see how it feels, and not try to rush him into anything right now.
Much like you were saying last night about Alomar, Robbie Alomar, he might be able to play, but if you're not going anywhere and the pennant isn't on the line, why risk a youngster's future by rushing them back?
Here's Templeton, who picked up a base hit, only his second in his career off of Smoltz in 18 at-bats. Back in the 5th inning, he's 1 for 3 in the night, takes ball 1. San Diego with those 3 third-inning runs. And they've held up. It's still 3-0. 1 ball, 1 strike on Templeton. There's Sean Abner in Tony Gwynn's spot. Here's the 1-1. All the way to the backstop, 2-1.
Here's what a high heater looks like from down low. Right at it. You see the seam spinning there?
That's a letter high fastball to Manute Bol. 2-2 the count now on Templeton. Smoltz not quite as sharp tonight as he has been in a great stretch of games he put together since the All-Star break. He's had to work around a lot of base runners. Padres have left 6 men on. And it's full now, 3-2.
And if you watch John Smoltz all year, you can tell when something is not just right, because he shows you with his expressions. Questions a couple of calls, looks in.
Chopper out to second again. Again, Treadway is there. And 2 are down now. It's 5 in a row have been retired by Smoltz. That'll bring up Sean Abner. He came in to play right field in the 3rd. That's when Tony Gwynn tried to make that leaping catch against the wall and may have fractured the index finger on his right hand.
Leo Mazzoni on the phone to the bullpen. John Smoltz is 3rd due up, so Freeman will come out and start the throw. But John, when things are going well for him, gets the ball, throws the ball. Not much expression, but he kind of changes it when things aren't going that well. He's one that pretty much lets you know what's going through his mind.
0-1 on Abner. Abner's only at bat the 5th inning. He flied to center. Bounces that one up there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the 1-1 to Abner. Good breaking ball. Didn't get it. 1-2. There's Jack Clark, who has walked 3 times, waiting on deck. That is it for Abner, and that is it for San Diego. In the top half of the 7th, Smoltz records his 4th strikeout. We go to the bottom half of inning 7, still 3-0 San Diego. We go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Braves still down by a 3-0 count to the Padres and Andy Bennis. Lower 3rd of the order, Ernie Whitt, Jeff Blauser, and a pinch hitter in all likelihood for John Smoltz. due up against Bennis. Now, he's had a lot of games this year where he's been very, very effective for 5 or 6 innings and then suddenly lost it in the 6th or 7th. And he's been on a little bit of a roll in the middle innings of this game. We'll see if he can continue it in the late innings. He only has 1 complete game this year. And because of that, the Padres have their bullpen up. Greg Harris, a right-hander, is starting to throw as the bottom of the 7th begin. Ernie Whitt 0 for 2. He's popped out to short, grounded out to first. Taking ball 1 from Bennis. There's Harris. Here's the 1-0, and Whitt fouled that one back. 1 ball, 1 strike. John Smoltz probably through for the night. He's due up 3rd in the inning. He'll finish his night with 7 innings of work, 8 hits, 3 runs allowed, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And you see Mike Bell in the batting helmet and the gloves on already, getting ready to pinch hit for Smoltz. The 1-1 is fouled back. It's 1-2.
That's 18 out of his last 19 that John Smoltz has pitched through 7 innings and has had quality starts.
But the Braves need to score some runs to get him off the hook here. It's 3-0 San Diego. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Nobody out. The 1-2. Deep to right center field. Abner and Carter both going for it, and Abner can't get it over his head up against the wall. Whip down to second. He'll pull in with a stand-up double. Hit number 6 off Andy Bennis for Ernie Whitt, his 8th double of the year.
Kept swinging at those balls upstairs and then got a breaking ball. Fouled the fastball back, got a breaking ball in the middle of the strike zone. Abner was playing over near the right field line, had a long way to go, so it's a double for Whitt. A runner in scoring position. Kind of looking in the dugout, I thought maybe we might see a pinch runner.
I was looking for one too, but I guess we're not going to get one here. Jeff Blauser will be the hitter. He's 1 for 2. He's singled and fouled out to 3rd.
I guess they figured they're going to play at 1 base at a time since he is the first run and they need 3.
Ball 1, the count on Blauser. There's Mike Bell on deck. He'll bat for Smoltz. Here's the 0-1. The changeup hit back up the middle, gets by into center field. Ernie Whitt was on his way back to second in case Templeton had a play. He'll get as far as 3rd. They're at 1st and 3rd. And isn't it unusual how some pitchers seem to do this all the time? Bennis cruising along through 6 innings. This has been a troublesome inning for him all year. Once he gets to the 7th, things start to happen to him.
Then it gets to be psychological, too. As much as you say, I'm not going to think about it. No, it doesn't bother me. When you get to the 7th inning, you find yourself walking out there saying, okay, I got good stuff. I've been sailing tonight. What's going to go wrong tonight? And sure enough, it will.
Talking about things working on your head, Dave Stieb recently finally got that no-hitter for Toronto. Did you see how he approached it? He had lost 4 no-hitters previously in the 9th inning. He said when it got to be the 7th inning, he said, I'm going to pretend this is the 9th. When it got to be the 8th, I'm going to pretend this is the 9th. When he got through both of those innings, nothing happened either time in the 9th, he said, so nothing's going to happen again this time. We're going to get a pitching change made here. The Padres taking no chances with their 3-0 lead. Andy Bennis through after working 6, giving up 7 hits. No runs yet. The runners at 1st and 3rd belong to him. Greg Harris is the new pitcher, and we'll be right back. Well, Andy Bennis has been through this before, pitching well through 6 innings and leaving in the 7th. Giving up 7 hits, no runs yet. Runners at 1st and 3rd both belong to him. 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. A chance to record his 11th win.
And someday what they're going to have to do with Andy Bennis is have him in a ball game where he has a 5 or 6-0 lead, 4 or 5 run lead, whatever, and say, okay, come out and say, okay, you're going to work through it. This is it. Either give up 9 or work through it and find out that these are the same hitters in the 7th that you faced in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, right on through the 6th, and let him work through it.
Because he really hadn't thrown that many pitches, only 89 pitches in the night. There's the relief pitcher, Greg Harris, who takes over here. One of the best curveballs in the business, this guy. 68th game. 8-7, 7 saves, an ERA of 2.50. And Mike Bell will pinch hit for John Smoltz as the first hitter to face Harris. Bell at 222, 4 out of 18 with the Braves. As a pinch hitter, hasn't done that bad. 2 for 7.
Greg lives in Pittsboro, North Carolina. Was born in Greensboro, so for him, this is almost like coming home.
That almost hit the runner, Ernie Whitt. 0-1. Ernie, just a reflex, almost dashed back into fair territory.
Mike took that high breaking ball and tried to serve it down the left field line. And you teach the runners to run outside that line, because if it hits them, it's just a foul ball. But Ernie had no place to go on that one but to head toward the field.
0-1, the count on Bell. Wood at third, Blauser first, nobody out. It's now 0-2 on Mike Bell. Bell trying to work his way up the Braves minor league ladder. Spent most of this year at Double-A. He's going to be pressed next year by a kid named Ryan Klesko, who is making very rapid strides in the Braves organization. Started out the year at Sumter, then went to Durham, drove in close to 100 runs combined for the two teams. And has everybody in the Braves organization is raving about his power. The 0-2. Outside, 1-2. Lonnie Smith with 2 of Atlanta's 7 hits tonight, due up next. With the runner at third, he doubled to open the inning, got over to third on a single by Blauser, who's now at first. Blauser chased back. Pitch to Bell. He struck him out. Santiago is thinking about throwing. No, it's a foul tip, says plate umpire Jerry Lane. Still allowed. Santiago is thinking about firing down to first, but never could connect with that foul tip. Couldn't hold on to it.
I think they're going to say that he missed it, and the foul tip bounced off of the catcher's
Oh, is that what they're saying? Okay, they are saying he missed it.
Yeah, they're going to say that he missed it, and what we were perceived as a foul tip was off the catcher's mitt. It sure did look like it.
I think Santiago dropped it in the act of throwing.
Take a look at this angle. See if it comes up off the bat.
No.
Can't tell from there. But either way, Bell is gone.
So it is a strikeout, 1 gone. There's another angle. And I definitely did not foul tip it. And I think the umpire at the plate, Jerry Lane's call is that he dropped the ball in the act of throwing. Well, he couldn't go anywhere anyway, runner at first. So it's a strikeout for Harris, and here's Lonnie Smith. Lonnie 2 out of 3. Well, the Braves have had some chances to score tonight. They've not been able to get the big hit. They left the bases loaded in the first inning. They had runners second and third. Nobody out in the third couldn't score.
And not only not get the big hit, Pete, but not make an out count. Like in the first inning. Runners at first and third, 1 out, where a sacrifice fly or any kind of ground ball, slow roller, anything on the ground gets a run in. Instead, there was a strikeout.
High in the air down the right field line. Abner coming over toward the line into foul territory. He's got it. Tagging at third is Ernie Whitt, and he will score without a throw, and the Braves have broken the ice here. It's 3-1. Lonnie Smith with a sac fly, his 39th RBI of the year.
And that's what Bobby Cox was hoping for out of either Gant or Justice back in the third inning when Smith led off with a single and Treadway got the double. An out like that gets a run, and at this stage it would be 3-2. That's a whole different pitching situation.
Treadway with a walk, a double, and a strikeout tonight. That run charge to Andy Bennis. The runner at first, Blauser, still belongs to him. Treadway fouls one off, 0-1.
You'll see a lot of batters swing late at Greg Harris's fastball, which is not in the middle 90s. It's a good one, but it's not an overpowering. It's not a great one. And the reason that they swing late at that fastball, he has such a good curveball that's in the front of the hitter's mind. They're trying to protect against the curveball rather than protecting against the fastball and adjusting.
Now the 0-1. There's the curveball, and it's lined down the right field line. Going to drop in. Base hit for Treadway. Heading for third. Blauser. The ball bobbled now by Abner. But no further advance possible. He recovered quickly. They won't charge an error because Blauser was going all the way. And now the Braves have the potential tying runs aboard for Ron Gant.
Sitting on a curveball, he got it. Down, right down the middle. Hooks it down the right field line. Abner came over in good fashion. The ball bounced up on him. But in his hurry to try to get the ball in quickly, dropped it. No harm. Blauser was going to go to third anyway. It's first and third with 2 outs.
Gant had a single in the first inning. He popped the second in the third, struck out in the fifth. He'd like to make up for that infield pop out in the third inning when he had runners second and third and nobody out and couldn't get the run in. Two men out, 1 run in. Braves down by a couple. The curveball hit it foul on the left side. Not a real big crowd tonight, but this crowd really into the game.
It's one of the most vocal, encouraging crowds I've seen here. We've seen a lot bigger ones, but certainly none that seem more enthusiastic. They're getting into the "Let's Go Braves" chant. That's good to hear. If you're a player, you forget the size of the crowd if you hear enthusiasm like that coming from it.
0-1, the count to Gant. The 0-1 on the way. Got another breaking ball. And there's a great example of that Harris curve. Pitch starts out looking like it's going to miss inside. That wound up dropping right over the heart of the plate.
Well, he throws one straight overhand that goes straight down. That one he came out of 3/4, so he got a down and away break. And the natural tendency of a right-hander is to straighten up, bail out, and think it's going to stay inside.
0-2 now to Gant. Another one, struck him out. He saw nothing but curveballs, and Harris records his second strikeout of the inning and gets out of further trouble. The Braves have to settle for 1. We've completed 7. It's 3-1 Padres.
Before we go to the 8th, let's take a look at our Delta scoreboard. It was the Mets over the Phillies. That score 4-2. And in a ever-tightening National League West race, the Dodgers are up on the Reds as the Reds hit it in the 9th. Pittsburgh over Montreal. Chicago, they're all tied with St. Louis in the 4th. It's a 1-1 tie down in Houston. The Giants are visiting there. In the American League, this is what it looks like. Toronto nipped Baltimore. Minnesota was beaten by Oakland. That score 4-1. Chicago over Boston 7-3 as they play there in the 6th inning. Detroit leads New York 3-1. Detroit getting all their runs in the 4th inning. The Yankees getting their one on a Jesse Barfield homer. Cleveland 5 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd. 7-1 over Kansas City. McGaffigan Swindell is the beneficiary for Cleveland of all those. McGaffigan started for Kansas City. Texas picked up 2 in the 1st. Milwaukee got 2 in their half of the 1st. They go to the 2nd, all knotted at 2 down in Arlington. And a little bit later start, the Mariners go down south to Anaheim. It's Hanson against Abbott.
And here it's Marvin Freeman taking over for John Smoltz. For Freeman, his 4th game in a Braves uniform, his 20th game on the year. And he faces Jack Clark to lead off here in the 8th inning. Clark has walked 3 times.
It's not really funny if you're catching it, but if you want to see something interesting, watch the job Ernie Wood has to do handling his fastball. It's a heavy, sinking fastball, and catchers hate it. It beats them to death.
And as long as you can throw it right there,
they don't care if they have to battle it. But you watch, there'll be very few smooth, flowing catches on it. His fastball just bores down and in on right-handers.
And the 0-2. Missed away, 1-2. I tell you what, we've got some pennant races building again. Look for a couple of weeks there like we were only going to have 1. If the Red Sox lose that game, Toronto's only going to be 2 out in the East. The Mets and the Pirates, of course, that one's been close for a while. And the Dodgers, if they can get the Reds out in the bottom of the 9th inning, will be within 4.5.
The Braves may have contributed to that. Remember when Cincinnati came down here and the Braves beat up on them twice?
Here's the 2-2. Puffed him up. First base side. Tommy Gregg coming over in the foul ground. He's got it, one down in the 8th. That'll bring up Joe Carter. Carter 2 singles and 3 at-bats, another RBI. He's hit against the Braves this year just like he's hit against the rest of the league. He's hitting .230 with 107 RBIs. Against Atlanta, 15 hits and 63 at-bats. That's about .230. And he has 16 RBIs on 15 hits. So he's made his hits count against Atlanta just like everybody else in the league. Having a very strange year.
But John Smoltz hasn't been a real mystery to him. He's 4 for 7 against John.
1 ball, no strikes the count on Joe Carter. Breaking ball, little soft liner out to second. Easy out number 2 as Treadway puts it away. And that'll bring up Benito Santiago.
We talked last night and we've talked before about how what you do in September carries a lasting impression with people who are making decisions. The young man in the middle of the diamond for the Braves has a chance to carve himself a niche on this pitching staff for next year.
You can see as this final month winds down, certain things beginning to fall a little bit more into place than they have in a long time in the bullpen. With Parrott and Merker as the short men out there. Grant, Castillo, and Freeman have been the most frequently used threesome in the middle and in spots like this. Down by a couple of runs late. And there's a message there for them that may be their role in 1991. There's also a message there for some other people who are not getting work right now.
That's right.
People like Dwayne Henry, Rick Lucan, Marty Clary.
Marvin Freeman, when he first got here, Leo Mazzoni spent a couple, 3 days down in the bullpen kind of tinkering a little with his mechanics, and he's come on and thrown some nasty pitches last week or so.
It's 1-1 now on Santiago.
It was really funny the first time I ever saw Freeman throwing down in the bullpen. He's standing on the mound. Leo is standing a couple of steps down trying to work, and he looked like he was talking right into his navel as he's explaining mechanics to him.
Well, Marvin is 6'7". Leo is not. Breaking ball missed, 2-1. Tell you who likes this guy is Don Drysdale, now a Dodger broadcaster. He feels that Freeman has a chance to be an excellent, excellent major league pitcher. He said he can't understand after watching him pitch a couple of times when he was with the Phillies why this guy hasn't made it earlier with the stuff that he has. That caught the corner, 2-2. Freeman was a #1 draft pick of the Phillies. Mark Grant was a #1 draft pick of the Giants. Mark Grant feels that it's much easier to get to the major leagues comfortably if you're not a #1 draft pick, because you're under a microscope from day one when you start out in the minor leagues as a #1 pick. But there's another side to that too. Ground ball to third, backhanded by Presley. Have a long throw, but he gets it over to Gregg, and Gregg can't make the pickup in the dirt. Santiago reaches. We'll see how they score that.
Presley had to backhand it, had time, came up, squared himself. It's a long throw, but I think you'll see here the throw beat the runner there by a lot. It's just in the dirt. Tommy Gregg couldn't come up with it, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be an error on Presley.
That is the call. Santiago reaching, and Pagliarulo will be the batter. The other side of that is if you're a #1 draft pick, you don't necessarily have to perform that well to move up the ladder.
No, you do not, because they are not. Very few clubs are going to embarrass themselves by forcing that #1 to be kept down.
Into center, Gant toward right center, puts it away for out number 3. The Padres strand a runner. We go to the bottom half of inning 8. It is 3-1 San Diego.
The NFL season continues tomorrow when the Houston Oilers visit the Pittsburgh Steelers. The stadium show at 7 p.m. That's with Fred Hickman. And then the football game, the Oilers against the Steelers with Skip Carey and Pat Hayden. All that comes on at 8 o'clock right after the stadium show, only on TNT. And we appreciate Skip calling us, reminding us to put this promo on, and charging the call to the company.
And we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Braves down by a couple, and Dave Justice will lead off. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out, popped to third, and fly to deep center. Tommy Gregg will follow, then Presley. Didn't get the Harris fastball. 0-1 the count in Justice. Pete Smith, Mark Grant.
A minute I thought they were wearing coonskin hats.
Here's the 0-1 delivery. Outside ball one. If you're Pete Smith, you're a little concerned at this point. You've tried to come back from an injury and it felt good 2 or 3 times out throwing. Then all of a sudden you feel that little twinge again.
I think it's much like what Mike Stanton went through. You feel like you've done everything you can do to get well, and then you go back and start to throw, and then all of a sudden here's something else pops up. And yes, it has to be frustrating. And I think this was going to be a real pivotal year for Pete Smith. He came off of a struggle last year, threw well in spring training, and I think he wanted, I think everybody wanted it to be a good year. So I would have to say that it is of some concern to him. I think it would only be normal if he were a little concerned.
They were looking forward to getting him out there for a couple of innings against the Dodgers. They won't do that now. Breaking ball caught the corner, 2-2.
Players' hairstyles now, short on the side, short on the top, and hanging down long in the back.
Hey, that's been an acceptable hairstyle for me for years. Here's the 2-2. What took everybody so long?
Okay, I got a question for you. When Davy Crockett was popular, did you have a coonskin hat?
I did not. I did get one given to me, though, at a convention about 10 years ago.
You had the, what'd you have, the Green Mountain Boys from up in your part of the country? You didn't have Davy Crockett, huh?
I remember Davy Crockett. But no, I don't. I had one of those fringe jackets, though. Here's the 2-2. He got him on a breaking ball. That's the 3rd strikeout for Harris. Every once in a while, if you look in the National League box scores, you see this guy have an outing where he goes 2 innings, strikes out 5, or 3 innings and strikes out 6.
And this is the pitch he almost often does it with. Look at the bite on that, straight down. Not too many pitchers throw that anymore. I think one of the reasons is that that is a working man's breaking ball. You really have to work your fanny off to continue to get good rotation and good spin. He has a dandy. Most guys would like to shortchange it, maybe a little bit of a slider, a little turnover pitch just to get the out.
Here's Tommy Gregg, who walked in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd, fly to center in the 6th. Ball 1 the count. Craig Lefferts is up now in the Padre pen.
Around the end of the 1st week in December, you watch how many times you'll read Greg Harris's name pop up in trade talks, trade rumors.
The bunt dropped out in front of the plate. Santiago with that shotgun arm runs it down and throws out Tommy Gregg for out number 2. He didn't get it down the line quite far enough.
Watch this. Watch how quickly he bounces out of there. Only about 2 or 3 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Then the turn and the bullet. Tommy Gregg on a pretty decent bunt is out by 3 steps.
Now Presley is 0 for 3. He is grounded out to 3rd, flied to center, popped out to 2nd. Padres leading at 3-1. There's that curveball, 0-1. The other Greg Harris, who now pitches for Boston, his bread and butter pitch also a curveball. They were teammates with the Padres for a brief time. Here's the 0-1. Threw him a fastball, missed inside with it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's so confident with that curveball that what he tries to do is spot his changeup, spot his fastball. You'll see him work in and out, inside, outside with the fastball, but very seldom down the middle. The curveball, he starts at belt high down the middle unless he has 2 strikes, because he knows if it breaks, it's not going to end up there anyway.
There's another one. There's another strike. 1 and 2.
See, a lot of pitchers get in jams when they have pretty good breaking balls by trying to spot it, making a perfect pitch with it. If it's a good breaking ball, you don't have to make a perfect pitch with it. You just have to start it as a strike because it will break out of the hitting area.
He's ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Presley. Two and two.
Then every now and then when a 2-foot break is good, you think, well, let me just snap off a 2.5-footer. Overthrow, and that's what you end up with there.
And
a lot of times
it winds up 2.5 feet, but 2.5 feet high.
That's right. A lot of times they call that a spiral. It's just sitting there waiting to be hammered.
Now the 2-2. He got him with another curveball. And that's 4 strikeouts in 2 innings for Greg Harris. We go to the 9th in Atlanta. It's 3-1 San Diego. It's 3-1 Padres. We go to the 9th inning. The 8, 9, and 1 spots due up in the San Diego order. A final has just come in from Cincinnati where the Dodgers beat the Reds again. 3-0. Ramon Martinez got the win. And the Reds' lead in the National League West is down to 4.5 games.
Tomorrow's game is the big one because if the Dodgers win tomorrow 3.5 with not too much time left, that's definitely catchable. But if the Reds win, then they've only gained a game and they've burned another week off the calendar.
They won 2 out of 3 from the Reds in L.A. last week, and now they've taken 2 straight in Cincinnati. So you're right. Tomorrow is it's a swing of 2 games.
But you know what they do? They beat the Reds 2 out of 3 and then go down and the Padres beat them 2 out of 3.
Into right center field, and Joey Cora has his 3rd hit of the night. He has 3 for 4, all 3 hit singles. First hit off of Freeman.
Just from watching Cora tonight, you can tell something about him. He's unusual as a left-handed hitter in that he is a high fastball hitter from that side. Every hit he's gotten tonight has been on a fastball above the belt.
Harris will hit for himself here. Trying to bunt the runner over. Gets the bunt down. The Padre pitchers have really helped themselves tonight. That's 3 sacrifices turned in by Andy Venice and Greg Harris. A runner at second, 1 out. The top of the order, Bip Roberts coming up. Roberts 1 for 3 had a first inning single.
They probably let Ed Whitson teach bunting over there. Not only is he a good competitive pitcher, he has 12 sacrifices this year.
Roberts didn't get the fastball from Freeman. 0-1. 1 man out in the 9th. Padres 3 runs, 10 hits. Braves 1 run, 8 hits. One ball, 1 strike. There's your runner at second, Joey Cora. 1 out here in the 9th inning. Two and 1 now to Bip Roberts. Gary Templeton waiting on deck. Bip's first name is Leon, and the Padres have had 2 Leon Roberts and 2 Dave Roberts play for them in their franchise history. This will get the runner over to third, but there are 2 outs now for Gary Templeton. Cora now at third. Templeton 1 for 4 on the night.
And the other Dave Roberts. Both the Dave Roberts, one was a big right-handed hitting third baseman, infielder. The other was a big left-handed pitcher, and the other, Leon Roberts, was a huge right-handed hitter, so about as opposite as you can get.
2 down with a runner at third. Freeman's pitch is hit high in the air, deep to left field. Lonnie Smith going back. He'll have a play, and that'll do it for San Diego in the 9th. Braves have 1 more crack at Greg Harris. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 3-1 San Diego. Greg Harris trying to save it for Andy Benes. Needs to get 3 more outs. If he runs into trouble, Greg Lefferts is in the bullpen. And Ernie Witt's going to lead off here in the 9th inning. Witt had a double back in the 7th inning, came around to score the only Atlanta run of the night. Harris, in the 2 innings he has worked, has recorded 4 strikeouts. Misses with a fastball to Witt, ball 1. Steve Avery against Dennis Rasmussen in the final game of the season series between these two teams tomorrow. We'll have it for you, 2:05 Eastern Time. Got the fastball over the inside corner that time, 1-1. Now the 1-1 coming to Witt. It missed. Ball 2, 2-1. Jeff Parrott is up in the Atlanta bullpen in case the Braves can send this one into extra innings. Here's the 2-1 to Ernie Whitt, and that caught the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jerry Lane calling the balls and strikes tonight, not getting many beefs. Very young umpiring crew working this series with Lane, Ron Barnes at first, Mike Winters at second, all in their first full year in the National League. Jerry Davis is the crew chief this time. Now the 2-2. Santiago tried to pull that one up into the strike zone, but it didn't fool Lane. The count full, 3-2. Now the payoff pitch. Oh, what a beautiful pitch there. Pulled the string, caught the corner. Ernie Whitt caught looking. That's 5 strikeouts for Greg Harris.
There's nothing you can do on that pitch except tip your hat to him and go sit down. The curveball starts it off the plate. 3-2, down by 2 runs. That's the last thing you're looking for as a hitter.
So 5 strikeouts out of the 7 outs recorded by Harris. 1 out in the 9th inning, and here's Blauser. Blauser 2 out of 3, pair of singles. Fastball for a strike, 0-1.
Then you can do that after you drop so many curveballs in there for strikes. Blauser's had a good night, but after seeing a 3-2 hook, the last thing he's going to be looking for is a fastball down the middle on the first pitch.
There's the breaking ball, hit high and deep to left field. Roberts going to watch this one go out of here. Home run number 7 for Jeff Blauser. And the Braves have pulled it within a run.
Might have been setting him up. Every now and then hitters will do that. They'll look for a pitch. He got the breaking ball, got it up in the strike zone. But if you're looking for a pitch and you get it, the one thing you can't do as a hitter is miss it. And he didn't. Got this one just short of the seats in left field. It's a 3-2 ball game.
So the Braves back to within a run with only 1 out in the 9th inning. Otoby McDowell will pinch hit now. And Greg Riddick's coming out. We may get Craig Lefferts into the game. McDowell has been announced as the pinch hitter. If they bring in the lefty Craig Lefferts, we can always see a right-hand hitter be inserted for McDowell. Here he comes. That 100-yard dash that Lefferts likes to run to get to the pitching mound. He'll try to save it now, as the home run by Blauser has made it a 1-run game. So it'll be Lefferts facing someone. We'll see who it will be that he faces right after this. Greg Harris is through after working 2 1/3, giving up a run, 2 hits, didn't walk anybody, struck out 5. But this man's going to have the chance at the save. Craig Lefferts. He leads their staff in saves with 23, making his 53rd appearance. And with the lefty brought into the game, it'll be Francisco Cabrera now coming on to pinch hit for Otoby McDowell, who was announced for Marvin Freeman.
Sinking fastball, slider, takes a little off, turns the ball over. Nothing fancy, nothing spectacular. He's not one that's going to strike out a man an inning. As a matter of fact, he is probably if you were building a reliever, he might not possess all the parts you would normally look for, but he's done a good job the last few years.
Here's Cabrera, a .291 hitter on the year, a .333 hitter as a pinch hitter. He's 6 out of 18. He has 1 pinch hit home run. Behind in the count, 0-1. That big war club that he swings.
He was trying to make it 2 pinch hit home run.
3-2. Padres up by a run. 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Out to the shortstop, Templeton. And 2 men are gone in the 9th inning. It's all up to Lonnie Smith. Lonnie tonight, 2 more hits and 3 at-bats. He also has an RBI with a sacrifice fly. And his batting average now at .309 for the year. He's raised it 3 points tonight.
In a close ball game, I think you can always look back to 1 or 2 things that might have made a difference. How about the 3rd inning when Smith singled to lead it off, Treadway doubled, Gant and Justice, neither one got the ball out of the infield, both popped up.
So the Braves down to their final chance here. Facing Craig Lefferts. Lonnie running up to bunt, took it outside. Jim Thatcher moves on deck. He will pinch hit for Treadway if Lonnie Smith can keep it going. And he keeps it going. This ball is gone. We are tied. Lonnie Smith with a 2-out 9th inning home run to tie this game at 3. Home run number 8, RBI number 40 for Lonnie Smith.
What you're taught in a close ball game, if you're a pitcher, is don't give them anything they can pull. A breaking ball right in on the inner third, right on it. He knew it. Everybody here knew it. Take a look at what goes through a man's mind when he sees a lead disappear. And he's thinking, how could I have done that? Because you're taught over and over, if they're going to beat you, make them go the other way to do it. Blauser got a breaking ball that stayed inside. Lonnie Smith got a breaking ball that came inside.
Well, now with the game tied, thanks to the home run by Lonnie Smith, Jeff Treadway will stay in there. Treadway 2 for 3 tonight. You know, Lefferts really hasn't pitched that well against Atlanta this year. Coming into this game, a 6.48 earned run average in 6 appearances. And that run that he just gave up, the 7th earned run in 8 2/3 innings he's allowed. So the Braves have had some success against Lefferts on the year. And tonight they've come back in the 9th inning with solo homers, one by Blauser, one by Lonnie Smith to tie it at 3. Jeff Parrott warming up for a purpose now. Treadway fouls this one away. It's 0-2.
Lonnie Smith may have gotten himself that pitch to hit when he faked the bunt. He faked the push bunt toward the right side of the infield. So probably Santiago and Lefferts says, okay, you want to do that? Let's see you bunt this one. Came right in his wheel.
Here's the 0-2 to Treadway. All the way to the backstop, 1-2.
Well, that home run also has special significance to John Smoltz.
Gets him off the hook. Here's the 1-2. Fouled back. Also has some significance to every man in a Braves uniform in that dugout, because the Braves coming into tonight's game, when they went into the 9th inning trailing, had a record of 2 wins and 68 losses. Chance to pick up only their 3rd win this year when they started out the 9th inning down. Here's the 1-2. That one almost got Jeff Treadway in the noggin. 2-2.
Well, he had gone away with the breaking pitches. Now comes back inside with the fastball. There might have been a little frustration behind that one.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, tied at 3.
And if it follows true to form, this next pitch probably be a breaking ball right on the outside part of the plate.
It missed inside. 3-2 now. Ron Gant on deck. There's nobody in the Padre bullpen. Treadway can coax a walk here. The right-hand hitting Gant would come in against Lefferts. Treadway does. He's the winning run at first. And the batter is Ron Gant, who's 1 for 4.
I think you just got a picture of a man losing his cool just a little bit and letting frustration dictate the pitches. 1 ball and 2 strike pitch to Treadway up under the chin, and then once he got 3-2, overthrew it. So he put himself in a situation where the tying run is at first base on the Treadway walk, and I think we're going to see Lemke run for it.
Lemke into the game to pinch run for Treadway. The potential winner at first, 2 outs. Gant, the hitter, he had a single back in the first inning. Since then, he's popped out once and struck out twice. I can't think of a more ideal spot for home run number 30 than right here. Ball 1 to Gant.
Let's watch on this sequence of pitches. Now, you recall he tried to get the ball in on Lonnie Smith. That's how he gave up the tying home run. Started Gant off with something turned over and away. Let's see if he stays out away from Gant.
There's a strike in the count even on Gant. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Right now in this situation, Ron Gant can look for a ball middle in until he gets 2 strikes. He can try to pull it out of here and get it over with. Once he gets 2 strikes, though, all he's thinking is he wants to prolong the inning.
Here's the 1-1. Downstairs. Ball 2. 2-1. Lemke at first. 2 outs. 3-3 game. Bottom half of the 9th inning. Solo homers by Blauser and Lonnie Smith have brought the Braves back. Here's the 2-1. That caught the corner. It's 2-2. Little Scroogey that Lefferts throws.
4 in a row he's tried to hit the outside corner with. And there you see Gant go into his spread out stance, choke up about an inch, keep the inning alive.
And the 2-2 pitch. Fly ball deep center field. Carter going back to the warning track. He's got it on the track for out number 3. Gant gave that ball a ride, but Carter got to it. And we go to extra innings in Atlanta. The Braves playing a little long ball in the bottom half of the 9th have tied it up. It's 3-3. And to tell you all about it, Mark Lemke at second base. Here's Don Sutton.
All right, Pete, thank you very much. A great comeback for the Braves. Pair of home runs in the bottom of the 9th. Lonnie Smith with 2 outs. Jeff Parrott is on. There you see his numbers. Jeff last pitched 3 days ago. And as Pete told you before, some roles being defined here as to how the Braves might begin 1991. Jeff Parrott, the right-handed closer. He'll be facing Abner, Clark, and Carter. Misses with the first one. It's 1-0. 3-9-0 for San Diego. 3-10-1 for the Braves. The Braves, all their scoring the 7th and the 9th. Padres got all theirs in 1 inning. It's 2-0 to Abner. If you're one who's interested in such things, first hitters against Jeff Parrott are 2 for 8. That's 250. That's ball 3. And I think if there is one thing that concerns you about Jeff Parrott, it is absolutely not his stuff. He has good stuff. Through the heart with the 3-0. It's 3-1. But since coming to the Braves in 22 innings, he's walked 14. That's too many. The 3-1 to Abner. Just misses away. He's now walked 15.
And the Braves bullpen will start up again. Left-hander Tony Castillo now begins to loosen.
Jack Clark will be the batter. I wonder when the last time Jack Clark was called on to sacrifice. Probably back in grade school. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Walked 3 times. He had walked 5 times in a row when he popped the first his last time against Marvin Freeman. Braves looking for a double play. High with the fastball.
He has such a good eye. A situation like this, a walk does what a sacrifice does.
We were talking about this a little bit before, Ernie and I. I really believe he has a zone he looks for the ball in, and if you don't throw it there, he's going to take it. He figures you cannot hit the outer part of that plate with 3 pitches. 1-0 to Clark. Clark with 22 homers. He's driven home 54. A little bit closer. Abner has some speed.
This was close.
Abner will go over and remove some dust and collect himself. 1-0 to Clark. Through the heart, 1-1.
You mentioned he doesn't believe a pitcher can hit that outside part of the plate with 3 pitches. If a pitcher does, he's got himself a strikeout. That's one reason Clark always has a lot of strikeouts each year, along with all those walks.
Yes, because he will not swing at that ball out there. He's grounded into 11 double plays, if you're wondering about the possibility. Parrott, a lot of throws to first every time a runner gets on, and almost always coming up in the stretch. Off the fist, headed towards second. Could be double play number 12. Blauser, Lemke, Gregg. What a nice turn by Mark Lemke at second.
This was not your routine 6-4-3. Blauser comes up with the ball behind the bag. Lemke backs up to the bag, takes the throw with his back turned to first, and then gets out of the way of a sliding Sean Abner to throw the strike on to first. Good play by both Blauser and Lemke. Watch how Lemke makes this pivot with his back to the bag.
And look how he did it by having that left foot already on the bag.
Like a first baseman.
So when he pulled off, he was headed toward first. 2 gone. That'll bring up Joe Carter. Carter started the evening with a pair of singles. He has since popped to the catcher. He has hit an easy soft liner to second base. He's 2 for 4. Fouled away. 0-2.
Crowd tonight of 7,390.
But sounds like a lot larger crowd. One of the most vocal we've had here in a long time. And they have been treated to some late inning excitement. 0-2. Carter's going to get a new bat. That one broke it. The bottom of the 10th will see Justice, Gregg, and Presley for the Braves. You know, we were talking the other night about infielders and outfielders having a couple of gloves that they can play with in case something goes wrong. Much is the same with batters. They have one that they'll use in batting practice, and they hope it feels like the one in the game. Then they have a gamer. And then they have one just in reserve. Most have a couple of boxes somewhere stored in the back, probably a couple of dozen at their disposal, but usually they narrow it down to 2 or 3 favorites. The 0-2 off the fist, fouled away. It's still 0-2. Good call, a good pitch, and Parrott hit the spot. Carter becomes a little bit more of a defensive hitter when he gets 2 strikes. Much like Gant, he spreads out, takes a little more compact swing. This one's off the fist. Be a long run for Ernie Whitt. Can he get there? No, it's into the lower boxes. So Carter stays alive. It's still 0-2. Santiago's on deck. And I think
broke
he's
another bat.
Another piece of timber.
Now he's got to go to the one you keep just in reserve.
Pitchers sometimes keep a record. They call them getting Louisville's. Still 0-2. On the corner, go sit down. Carter does not like the call, but that was right there. So a nice job of pitching by Jeff Parrott, thanks in a great part to a dandy double play at second base. The argument will continue as we go out. We played 9.5 at Atlanta. Braves coming to bat, bottom of the 10th. We're all tied at 3.
Well, the argument between Joe Carter and plate umpire Jerry Lane continued as the inning was ending. We were going to commercial. You may have seen Jack Clark walk in and try to pull Carter away, and he did. Carter started heading out toward his position in center field. Greg Riddock came out to take over the argument, and now he's gone. So Jerry Lane has tossed both Joe Carter and Greg Riddock out of the ballgame. Carter got tossed after he walked about 40 feet or so away from home, then wanted one final word and said something back toward the plate. That's when he got the heave-ho. Riddock took over the argument then, and he has just gotten tossed. And I'll tell you what, and Don, you and I were talking about this during the commercial break. This is a young umpiring crew, and a lot of eyes are going to be on this group, how they've handled it. They let Joe Carter go a long time. They let Jack Clark come in, try to calm him down, try to let him have his say and stay in the ball game. And when the Padres just wouldn't quit, they finally gave him the toss, but they handled it well.
They handled it as well as it could possibly be handled. Jerry Lane took a lot, stood there, never lost his cool, and Barnes, Winters, and Davis all came in around home plate, but nobody got excited. Nobody was confrontal, and they let Carter say his piece, and he may have said just a little too much, but they let Greg Riddock go a little bit longer than we've seen managers go and get a little bit more heated than we've seen them go. So I'll tell you what, you're going to have disagreements in ball game. You're going to have arguments. Let's take another look at the pitch.
Well, look where Ernie Witt is set up. First of all, he's set up outside the strike zone, and he may have stolen that one. It's a borderline call.
We've talked about that before. If the umpire's sitting on your inside shoulder and you hold the mitt there, he's going to call it if he hits it. And Jeff Parrott could not have hit it any more solidly. We're going to have some defensive changes brought on by the ejection. Darren Jackson will go into center field and replace Joe Carter. You can put him in the 5th spot in the batting order. So Jackson is on for Carter. Lefferts is still in the ball game. And for the Braves, it'll be Justice, Gregg, and Presley. So not only late inning firepower from the Braves, but some late inning disagreement.
Here's another look at strike 3 called to Joe Carter. See where Witt is set up and see where the umpire is set up. The umpire set up over his inside shoulder. Ernie sets up outside. Now here Riddock has come out, and here's when Carter turns around and says one more word. That's when he gets the heave-ho, and now watch Carter's reaction. Here he comes again. That's when Riddock turned around and tried to step in between him and pick up the argument from that point on, and Riddock got tossed.
Well, the more pressing matters. Justice takes strike 1 from Lefferts. We're all tied at 3, bottom of the 10th from Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. If you guys, if you have that graphic, flash that back up there again, if you would. 0-1 to Justice. On the corner, it's 0-2. You won't see this by many left-handers, and you certainly won't see it from young left-handed hitters.
And especially left-handers with power. He seemed to really struggle most of the time against southpaws, but he has hit them well all year.
If you watch baseball a lot, your first reaction would be that has to be a typographical error. They must have gotten the numbers reversed. No, folks, those are facts. It's 0-2 to Justice. The 342 will drop a little, but a nasty pitch. 3 pitches, Justice is gone. 1 out, the Braves half of the 10th.
That's a good pitch from Lefferts. Breaking ball really wasn't a strike, low and outside, but Justice couldn't stop the swing. And Lefferts has his first strikeout.
He'll face Tommy Gregg with 1 out. Gregg is hitless for the evening. He walked in the first inning, has since struck out, fly to center, tapped out in front of the plate, fouls it away.
Who manages the Padres now? Sandy Alomar?
Sandy Alomar, I would think, would do that.
Alomar is going to be managing in winter ball this year.
Oh, 0-1 to Tommy Gregg. Same breaking ball as to Justice, same result. It's 0-2. Now, these are more numbers you would expect to see.
Although that spread particularly wide.
And normally you would expect maybe 277, 215, 220. Misses. It's no. He calls strike 3. A late call by Jerry Lane. So Lefferts has retired the first 2 Braves in the 10th inning on strikes.
Well, after an argument-free game in this 10th inning, been a couple of calls that hitters have not agreed with. That looked like a pretty good pitch, though, from Lefferts.
So Presley will try to do it with 2 outs. After a good offensive night last night, Jim is 0 for 4. Grounded to third, flied to center. He's popped to second. He struck out looking against Greg Harris in the 8th. Bullpens are quiet. Popped high in the air over third. Pagliarulo is calling near the bag. Makes the catch. So Lefferts restores order in the 10th. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Braves go quietly. We go to the 11th. All tied at 3.
We will give it a shot here as we go to the 11th inning. Jeff Parrott ready to face Santiago, Pagliarulo, and Cora. Then due up in the Braves half of the inning, the lower third of the order. Ernie Whitt, Jeff Blauser in the pitcher's spot. Tied at 3.
If Jeff Parrott stays in there, the lineup that he will face now has the 2 toughest outs for him gone. Gwynn was 6 for 13 against him. You recall he was injured early in the ballgame. Carter was 4 for 9. He's now gone.
And it'll be Benito Santiago leading it off. Santiago 1 for 4. Eric Shaw up in the San Diego bullpen. Left-hander Tony Castillo works in the Atlanta bullpen. We're in the 11th inning.
As usual, as we go to extra innings, a wonderful job of producing by Glenn Diamond, Brian Sipes directing, Steve Johnson, Warner Maney doing the graphics, technical director Brian Smythe, and Richard Coker, who likes free baseball, is what he calls this, is going to work the extra innings for free.
Yeah, Richard always likes these extra inning games, double headers. Free baseball, he calls it. Braves are 5. I make that 5 and 8 in extra innings. Padres have had more extra inning games. They're 9 and 9. Santiago lofts one into right center field. Long run for Gant. Can't get to it. Base hit. And a potential winning run on for the Padres to lead off the 11th.
You'll give up a few more base hits like that in close ball games and in extra inning ball games because you try to protect against the extra base hits. Normally your outfielders will play a couple of steps deeper. Your infielders will guard the line, so you'll see more singles that fall where they might have made the play if they had been a 9-0 ball game.
Here's Pagliarulo. He's 0 for 4 on the night. He is squaring, pulls back. Ball 1. He has delivered 1 sacrifice bunt this year, but not a normal role for him either.
I'll bet when they were going over the signs for the sacrifice bunt, when he got to the Padres, he had to ask again, now, what is that sign for? Because I have a feeling with the Yankees, with the DH when he was there, it wasn't called on to do that too many times.
See what happens here in this 1-0 pitch. He's squaring again, gets the bunt down. It should do the job. It'll be picked up by Tommy Gregg. On to Lemke in time, down to second. Goes Santiago. So Pagliarulo is not called on to do that very often. Got down a good one. That's the 4th sacrifice bunt of the night for the Padres. And it'll bring up their little second baseman, Joey Cora, who's gone 3 for 4 tonight with 3 singles. A 3-3 game. We're in the top half of inning 11. And there's another base hit for Joey Cora, his 4th hit of the night. The runner at second, Santiago, had to hold up to see if that ball got through. It did. He can only go as far as third, but now the potential go-ahead run only 90 feet away with 1 man out. And Fred Lynn in the on-deck circle. Looks like he's going to be announced as the pinch hitter. The Braves could counter with Tony Castillo. We'll see.
And this is one of the moves Bobby Cox was anticipating when he had Castillo throwing last inning. A lot of times you'll see a left-hander throwing and you'll see a bunch of right-handers hitting, maybe 4 in a row, and you think, what is he doing that for? He's not going to bring him in to face a right-hander. But good managers think ahead. They think if this situation occurs and if Lynn's there. And one of the things it'll do is sometimes it'll keep a batter like Lynn on the bench, maybe a couple extra hitters.
Well, here comes Bobby Cox, and Tony Castillo will get the call. So Jeff Parrott will be lifted after working an inning and a third. He has given up 2 hits. No runs yet, but it's going to take some good work from Castillo to keep it at no runs, as the runners at first and third belong to Parrott. He walked 1, he struck out 1. And we'll see if it's Lynn or a right-hand hitter that Castillo gets to face right after this. The 4th Atlanta pitcher of the night, left-hander Tony Castillo, making his 46th appearance for the Braves, his 43rd out of the bullpen. And it looks like he will pitch to Fred Lynn. There's been no movement from the San Diego dugout. Lynn still standing off to the side. Tough situation, first and third, 1 out. And a veteran left-hand hitter who's been in this spot many times before in his career, Fred Lynn, will be coming to the plate. Lynn, a .249 hitter, 5 homers, 20 RBIs, .333 as a pinch hitter, though, 10 for 30.
But he probably hasn't faced too many left-handers coming off the bench, pinch hitting.
So we'll see what transpires here with runners at the corners, 1 out in a 3-3 game in the 11th. Tony Castillo. Right-hand hitters are batting .308 against him. Lefties .259. And he's going to work on Fred Lynn and misses with the first one, ball 1.
Braves are going to bring him up at the corners. Presley's at the cut of the grass. Greg is going to come off. He'll be at the cut of the grass at first base. But the middle of the infield is going to stay back and try to turn 2.
All Lynn wants to do here is hit a fly ball deep enough to score the run. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit center field. Just beyond the reach of Lemke. In to score Santiago. Moving to third is Cora. And the Padres have reclaimed the lead here. It's 4-3 as Fred Lynn delivers a pinch hit single. That's his 11th pinch hit of the year and his 21st RBI overall.
Castillo wanted a ground ball. He got the ground ball, but unfortunately out of the reach of Lemke at second base. On the ground, Lemke dives. If he can knock it down here, he's got a good chance of turning 2, but that's a perfectly placed grounder.
Still only 1 out. It's 4-3 San Diego. And Bip Roberts the batter. He's 1 for 4. Dwayne Henry has gotten up now for Atlanta. Runner is going. There's the pitch out. They throw back to third. But Cora was on his way back there, and it'll be a stolen base for Fred Lynn. The way Cora was acting at third, I think if Witt had gone ahead and thrown down to second, he was going to break toward home. It's only Lynn's 2nd steal of the year.
That'll open up first base. That means that they will intentionally walk Roberts to pitch to Templeton with the bases loaded.
So this will load him up for Gary Templeton.
Templeton hits close to 30 points higher batting from the right side, so we might see Dwayne Henry so that they can switch him around to the other side.
Here comes ball 4 to Roberts. And they're loaded now for Templeton.
But the question you have to ask yourself if you're the manager to offset those numbers is who is most likely to throw strikes in this situation. And I think you would have to say Castillo is more likely to put the ball over the plate.
Gary Templeton 1 for 5, had a single back in the 5th inning, then was caught trying to steal. make or break type of hitters in a game like this. He could break it wide open with a base hit here. You get him to hit into a double play, you get a little momentum back your way going to the bottom half of the inning.
Templeton's a pretty good bunter. You get behind in the count, you have to be alert for the squeeze play. Padres add one more. That'd be a big run for him.
Here's the 1-0. Little chopper hit out towards second. Lemke is only going to have one play. Joey Cora's hustle got him a run there. Lemke thinking about throwing home, but by the time he got to the ball, he had no chance to get Cora. And Templeton picks up his 49th RBI with a routine ground ball.
Well, on 2 pitches, Castillo has gotten the ground balls that he's wanted. Unfortunately, one by Fred Lynn is a base hit. Also equally unfortunate, this one was either hit too hard to come home or too soft for the double play. Watch Cora. He's moving on contact. Looking over his head, but he's coming, looking over his shoulder toward first, but he's coming all the way.
So it's now 5-3, and here's Abner taking a strike. Abner 0 for 2 since coming into the game. Joey Cora has had himself a good night. He's 4 for 5. He's scored 2 runs, one of his bigger major league games. Out of play by Abner, 0-2. Now the Braves are going to have to try to do in the bottom of the 11th what they did in the bottom of the 9th. Providing Castillo can get out of this with no further damage. They were down by 2 coming to hit in the bottom of the 9th inning. Got a couple of solo homers. They're down by 2 again. The 2-strike pitch all the way to the backstop, but the Braves got a break there. The ball came right back to Ernie Witt. And if that runner at third, Fred Lynn, had broken for home, would he have been surprised? Watch this.
The old rebound trick. Boom, high off the screen. Ernie turns around, bare hands it.
Tell you what, he made a good play. He made a barehanded grab of that ball. If that ball gets by him and rolls out toward the mound,
still has a chance to score.
Yeah.
But Lynn very alert. He was headed toward home till he saw it hit and head back to the plate, but he stopped.
1 ball, 2 strikes now to Abner. Witt blocked that ball. 2-2. And now the 2-2 on the way. A little chopper hit over the mound. Charging this one, Lemke. He's got to hurry. The throw to first is just in time. Good play, Mark Lemke. That's all for San Diego. But they pick up 2 11th inning runs. We go to the bottom half with San Diego having the lead back now by a score of 5-3.
I'm on my way. Boise?
When your travel plans suddenly change,
You gotta help me. I checked my case to Boston, now they want me in Boise.
it's good to know Delta's got a team like Compass
Walt, I need a recheck fast.
to Price
Large sample case?
to Morris
number 0479.
to Elders.
I got it.
Great job, Walt. No problem, Mr. DePrima.
Thanks.
Mr. DePrima, Mr. Michael DePrima, please call your office.
Walt? About that bag.
Daihatsu owners talk about Daihatsu from Japan.
When you can recommend a car to your best friend, you are driving the right car.
We're talking about style.
And performance.
Japanese quality I can afford.
You get the same quality in Rocky, the wide-track 4x4 by Daihatsu.
That zippy 4-cylinder fuel-injected engine really gets it around.
And Rocky has the widest wheel track in its class. Today, there's a Daihatsu that's just right for you. Daihatsu, one of the most respected names in Japan for over 80 years.
Weekdays, meet Deputy Barney Fife. Fearless.
Sexy.
Dangerous. The Andy Griffith Show. Weekdays at 6:35 Eastern on TBS.
Quickly, let's refresh your mind as what the scores are. It was the Mets over Philadelphia. Cincinnati lost to Los Angeles. That lead shrinking. Montreal nipped Pittsburgh. The Mets a half a game out. In the 6th inning in St. Louis, the Cubs and the Cardinals are all knotted. Down in Houston, the Giants hold a 1-run lead in the 8th inning there. In the American League, it was Toronto over Baltimore by 1. Oakland by 3 over Minnesota. Bob Welch is now 24-6. Chicago over Boston. That score 7-3. Boston's lead shrinking too. Hibbert got the win. Thigpen got another save. New York trails Detroit. That score 4-2 as they play in the 8th inning. Kansas City is being doubled by Cleveland 8-4. They're in the 6th. Texas got 5. They're over Milwaukee 5-3. They're just in the 4th inning there. And just underway in California, Seattle scored in the 1st. The Angels now coming to bat.
Eric Shaw with a different opportunity for him now, a chance to save one. He's trying to save it for Craig Lefferts. This is 33rd game, his 22nd in relief. Lefferts, the pitcher of record, could pick up the win.
Same situation, same people as the 9th inning.
Eric Shaw has not had a save since 1982. He had 3 saves that year, 3 in 81. Pitched mostly as a starter, of course, since then. Well, here's Ernie Witt. He's 1 for 4. Double back in inning 7. Bottom of the 11th. It's 5-3 San Diego.
He struck off the lead off the 9th. Blauser followed with a homer.
Little dribbler out towards second. Joey Cora is there. 1 pitch, 1 out in the bottom of the 11th. That'll bring up Blauser, who hit that 9th inning home run that made it a 1-run game. He's 3 for 4 on the night, a pair of singles besides the homer. These are the kind of games, Don, when you're playing at home and you lose them, they hurt a little bit more than the ordinary loss.
Yes, because you get pumped up with the comeback and you're really fired up. And I really believe that I have seen a lot of ball clubs lose tomorrow's game with tonight's events.
Ball 1, the count on Blauser. Jimmy Kramers has moved on deck. He'll pinch hit. Two and 0 the count. Now the 2-0 pitch right through there for a called strike. 2-1. Eric Shaw trying to make it back from back surgery. It was against the Phillies back on the 8th of July in '82 that last save was recorded by Shaw. 3-1. Full count 3-2. The Braves certainly know about this guy. He is 18-3 lifetime against Atlanta. Even a year like this when things have not been going that well for him. And there's a drive hit deep to left field by Blauser, but not deep enough. Roberts out there for the catch. 2 down. I was about to say, even a year like this for Eric Shaw when things have not gone well at all. His ERA has been over 6 much of the year. He's just gotten it down to the 5.5 level now. He picked up a win in San Diego out of the bullpen in an 11-inning game.
And there are some teams, and there is no logical explanation. Just like some hitters hit well against teams, there are other teams that some pitchers always manage to get all the breaks and make all their good pitches against.
Well, he's got 1 more out to get. Jimmy Kramers pinch hitting, 151 for the year, homer, 2 RBIs, 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter. 2 outs in the bottom of the 11th. Ball 1 to Kramers. He's batting for Castillo. That evens the count, 1-1. Shaw gives you a little bit of everything out there in the mound. Ground ball to the right side. Cora can't come up with it. It trickles into right field, and Kramers reaches, giving the Braves a little hope. And a runner at first with 2 down now for Lonnie Smith.
The ground ball was headed for right. A little bit of rough turf out there. You can see Cora reached down. The ball took the extra bounce. Didn't hit his glove. Hit up on his wrist. By the time he got to it, he couldn't throw out Kramers. And Rosario is going to pinch run for Kramers.
Charge an error to Joey Cora to keep the game going. Victor Rosario on to run for Jimmy Kramers. Here's Lonnie Smith, who tied the game up in the 9th inning with his 8th homer of the year. 1 of 3 hits tonight. He's driven in 2 runs, one with a homer, one with a sac fly in the 7th. Coming back toward us. Just shy of the booth. The count 0-1. He almost had one.
About a foot away. The new restriction on the length of gloves cost me that one.
They're not holding Rosario at first. If he wants to swipe a bag, he can go ahead. And the count 0-2 now on Lonnie Smith, who by going 3 for 4 tonight has the average for the year up to .311. That's just 4 points below what he hit last year. But he's in a hole now, 0-2 against Eric Shaw with 2 outs in the bottom of the 11th. The 2-strike pitch. Missing, ball 1.